Yeah, this is fucking. We put this even at the start. That was unbelievable. We just had 3 hours with Rick Naya. Fucking hell, that man has done everything. He's the grandfather of hybrids. So he basically pollinated and got his first ever hybrid, and he's known as the grandfather of hybrids. He spawned Northern Lights, he spawned skunk. All this stuff came from him. So this is a 3 hour chat with Rick Naya, and it was fucking. We learned a lot and heard a lot. So what a legend of a man. Make sure you watch that, like, subscribe, and all that. We do it live on the Patreon. So if you want to catch the next one live, subscribe to Patreon, the High Cunts. I'll put it in the description. But big thanks to Rick Naya, and yeah, we'll see you next. See you next. What's it?
See you at the next Overseas Sundaze.
Overseas Sundaze. Thank you very much, legend. Yeah, nice. Hey, welcome to Overseas Sundaze. Grandmaster Kush and the Faded Fairy. GramFaded Overseas.
Excited to get back.
Yeah, no, for sure. We've got our first podcast back Friday. We've got another one recorded for going to be recorded for next Friday, and now Overseas Sundays back. So, yeah, if you are watching, this is live on Patreon. It's going to come out next Sunday, so we're going to try and do that, get ahead of ourselves. So make sure you like, subscribe, all that, and check out the Patreon if you do want to catch the lives. But this week we've got Rick Naya, a cannabis activist from America. He's going to tell us all about the history. So let's bring him in. Yo.
Hello.
Hello.
Great. Thank you so much for coming on. We're beyond excited, honestly, to hear your stories, everything.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, we even know ourselves, we're still new and learning a lot to this industry. So to get to sit down and speak to people like
yeah, people that got us here, because we always say that some people think the legalization battle's over. It's far from over, but we need to talk to the people who got us this far, you know what I mean, and recognize that. So, yeah, yourself, Uncle Stoner, Mila, people like that, Soma. We've had all these on as well, so we've had some of the great names on. So it's great to just fill in all the blanks from the history of cannabis. So thank you so much.
Righto. Thank you for having me. It's a blessing, as you mentioned, Uncle Stoner, Bobby. Bobby's been a friend of mine for many years, and probably for over 30, quite frankly. But Bobby and I united at the events in the Northeast of the United States in Boston, for the most part. And I met Bobby being an advocate and an activist. So there's a difference between an advocate and an activist.
Yeah.
An advocate talks a lot about doing it, and an activist acts upon doing that.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't, here's what I tell everybody. Oh, you want to be an activist? Oh, God bless you. And I give them the Holy Cross and say, good luck. God bless you. You're going to lose your wife and kids. You're going to lose it all because your passion will take over everything for your cause, specifically if you've been chosen or that you've heard the voice speak to you and that you know that this is your calling, that this is your chance to leave your mark upon humanity. You know, we've all been asked several things between the diatribes, I would have to say, about religions and so forth. But we all know that, you know, we're here to perform a few things in this world. That's procreate, maybe in the image of yourselves or in the likeness of your higher power.
Yeah.
Right up. And then leave your mark upon humanity. What is it you're going to be able to do in your lifetime that the world may recognize that it had value, that you brought value to your community and to humanity, society itself? It's a very big, bold thing to say, but we're made for this. We're designed beings specifically to shine that truth and light and to be able to do it with our head up and not be a coward, even in the greatest phases of adversity, which we're facing now throughout the world. And hate to say it, you know, I'm American, I'm born and raised here, but I'm Cuban. My ancestors are Cuban. I come from the monarchy of the Spanish monarchy, from the Galician northern provinces of Galicia. My family are the noblemen of that portion of Spain. So we founded Cuba in the early 1500s. I was born in the U.S. I was not born in Cuba. But my heritage, my ethnics, and my culture is from Cuba. Many people don't even know really what Cuba is or once was, because, you know, typically when communism takes over, it wipes out all forms of any form of information of history. And that's their objective.
Written by the victors.
Correct. It's correct. But in itself, in a nutshell, I come from a very aristocratic form of a family, and I had to listen to a calling as a child, I guess, that drove me to say, hey, I like cannabis. It affects me nicely.
Yeah,
You guys don't like it. It's against the law. But quite frankly, I never gave a care about mostly anything for many years. I didn't care about the law, my parents, my family. I didn't care what they said. I did what I chose to do,
yeah,
and I would wear the outcome. Luckily, my mother was able to help me many times when all hell would break loose for me, being that she was a director general within the embassies of the United States. So I didn't have a lot of problems when it came to the major legal battles like many other people who face prison time and a lot
yeah,
of other adverse effects from our choices. But for myself and for many others, I guess, trying to be cool in the 70s and 80s was a thing because, peace, love, and happiness was upon us after the Vietnam War. And people were starting to wake up that, hey, wait a minute, our government's a little bit, they're lying a lot, not a little bit, a
yeah,
lot. So we've come to find all of us throughout the world, most of us who consume cannabis, have been woken up and understand what politics means, who's funding this shit, and
yeah,
why this is happening to us in our lives. So
yeah,
it comes down to all of us, your listeners, my listeners, our friends and fans, to be heard, to have our voices heard, and to stand tall and rigid. Don't allow others to manipulate that fact, especially politicians who are on the take. They're all either going to shut up and do what they're told, or
yeah,
they're going to be bringing money in to shut everybody up with their bills and their laws that they pass. But it takes a strong voice. It takes strong people, and typically those are the chosen ones. Some higher power calls you, knows that you were designed to do something, and it taps in with you, and you obey those instructions. Because for those of us that get involved with the voice that speaks to us and shun it and brush it off, oh, I got to go with Becky. I'm hanging out with Jimmy today. Oh, we're going to go with the boys. Me and the girls are going to click up. We're going to get fucked up tonight. The next thing you know, problems happen, and your gut feeling said, man, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I
yeah.
knew I should have done this.
Sugar.
Well, it's not your gut feeling. It's those receptors, our cannabinoid receptors, that's dialed into our pineal gland, which in fact is part of our soul. All of this is connected. So when we feel the vibes and our goosebumps, and obey them. Listen, it's guiding you. And if you want to go the opposite way, just know there'll be a consequence. But if you
Yeah,
listen to that and obey that light, it never fails. It
yeah,
always delivers. It hasn't ever yet once failed me. And now I'm 63 this year, going on 64 July. I just turned 64. What am I talking about? I'm 64 years old. And most of my friends that see me, I own a musical company. They call me one of the hardest working men in the music industry. It's probably true. With the type of work that we do, it's very difficult. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, a lot of staffing, just a lot of passion. And that's my company's mantra, passion over profits.
yeah,
We prefer to deliver a great show, $1 million show for $100,000, than do a $250,000 show and deliver $50,000 worth of venue effects. We
yeah,
don't do that. We're recognized for delivering high end musical events. So that's kind of what we do. But then back to Bobby. I met Bobby through High Times events and High Time cultural events and so forth. And in the early days, for your guests that don't know, here in the United States, I'm considered the great grandfather of hybrid cannabis.
I seen that.
Correct. And in the early days, due to my good fortune of being able to travel with my mother and get around the world, I was able to garner some Hawaiian seeds and some Colombian seeds. And
Wow.
in the early to mid 70s, I grew a Hawaiian next to a Colombian. The Colombian pollinated the Hawaiian, and the very first American hybrid, international hybrid, was created. It was the
Wow.
Gainesville Green. And then I shared that with a few friends who took that to Washington, and that's where Sam and Neville were from. And they did some works with some Thai and Afghani and created skunks and Northern Lights. And the works began, and then Neville took off to Amsterdam due to some criminal charges from the U.S. that were after him. And he ran to Amsterdam, but what he ran with is he ran with all the rest of the beans. Now, mind you, I was given some of the earlier ones, which I still harbor. I still have them in my vault.
Wow.
Correct. So I have the origins of the truth of Sam and the truth of Neville because they come from genomics that I created, not the Afghani nor the Thai, because those were land races in the day. Everything
Yeah.
was named after a country, a province, a city, or a town. That's how cannabis was called in the early
Yeah.
days. So when Gainesville came, I brought it to a friend to buy it, and he just asked me, "What in God's tarnation is this?" I said, "It's weed. I grew it." He goes, "What do you call it?" I go, "Weed. I call it weed." No, what name did you give it? And I didn't have a name because we were so young. We had no concept of, hey, let's grow something and give it a name. It was
Yeah.
it was what they call in Spanish a milagro, a blessing. Magic happened, and God just so happened to let it happen.
Yeah. You didn't even mean for it to happen. It just happened.
I'm a little boy. I'm a little 13-year-old kid. Hey, yeah, man, I got
You
some
were only
seeds.
13.
Excuse me?
You were only 13 when you did this.
Oh, yeah, I was a young child when this all began.
Oh. So you literally changed the face of hybrid weed when you were 13 years of age.
No, the good highest powers that just so happened to say that you were going to be the one. I was chosen
You're the
without that
vessel.
knowledge. Now, 50 years later, when genetics came out, a lot of people started knocking on my door. Naya, Maya, they're talking about Gainesville Green. Huh? And here's what I said. Don't bother me right now. I'm writing laws, bills, and rules to help regulate cannabis in New Hampshire, New England, Florida. Don't come at me with this ridiculousness. And when they called again, they said, no, dude, you got to realize this is some serious shit, Mr. Naya. This is like the very first hybrid that's touched the world. I went, huh? I said, it's impossible. Land races, indicatively, from mountain range to mountain range, cross-pollinate. But that's considered land race. That wasn't done purposefully because in the early days, nobody really gave a shit. We just smoked cannabis. It wasn't
where you find.
it was unimportant to try to breed these things, but it just so happened when they heard Hawaiian with Colombian, and then Neville said, let's take a Thai with that, and let's take an Afghani with it. And oh, I got to haul ass to Amsterdam. They're going to bust me.
And
Oh,
that's
look at all
Neville, as in Neville
right.
Hayes.
Look at all this weed they have there now, because you guys in the early 80s and 90s, when high time started coming about and all of it started really reaching some of the fervor, it was Amsterdam that was in the lap and the luxury of being able to bring in international strains, breed them and grow them, and win these championships. Cincy Seed Bank is for one. I probably have to say, and I hate to say it, half of the origins of all of the hybrids come from mine. And then also understand Crippy. You have to understand what Crippy is. The Crippy is a sister of Gainesville Green, because Gainesville Green, I had it, brought it down to Micanopy, which is like 2 counties north of where I'm from. And then I brought it back to Okeechobee. So Micanopy purple, Okeechobee purple, and then we hit that with a Cuban black Kush. That Cuban black Kush with the Crippy, Okeechobee purple, became the Crippy. And Crippy now is just a legendary thing for many of the Latins and South Floridians, and people from Brooklyn love the Piff, and we have a Piff Con now. So we throw a really big festival regarding this lemon, lime, hazy, very heady cannabis, and I have some right now. In fact, I'm going to enjoy some. You don't mind?
Yeah, of course, work away.
But it's interesting to say that when God works, whatever, when the highest powers come out of the woodwork and do what
Can
they
I say one thing? I like the way you don't. You seem spiritual but not religious.
I'm
You
Catholic.
keep
I
saying
was
the higher
born religious.
power instead of a label.
I went down all that labeling between
Yeah,
Pentecostal, Holy Rolling, the Hallelujahs. I have
I
learned and
like that.
interpreted the Buddha, Indian. I have learned religions purposefully to try to understand what was all these people trying to say.
What they
Yeah,
were fighting
no
about.
shit. We came from fucking aliens, and they created a hybrid being in their image, and here we fucking are. Yes,
Yeah.
there are different forms because there were different forms of beings as well. We're not just indicative of one. They say we come from one woman, which I'm in agreement of, because what comes first, the chicken or the egg? How did that work out? It's tough. But when you do enough acid or consume enough psychotropics, and you get to become enveloped in the bosom of all things and the greatest power of all beings, you'll understand that it's a feminine, powerful thing that's not only masculine but feminine. It's all in one. And you feel this enigmatic mothering, it seems, when you're cudgeled by it and holds you in its energy. You sense the nurturing. That's what humans do. We nurture one another. Now, here's a question I'm going to ask you two. Do you know what the 4 rudimentary principles that cannabis provides are? There's only 4 things that it really does. It does 20,000 products and millions of different other things. But truly, it only really does 4 things.
As in helps with 4 things, or like works.
It just is 4 words that it provides. I'll just share them with you because it's almost like it's a riddle almost, but it's not. It's secular. It's like the infinity symbol. It's always coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. It doesn't stop this. It's cyclical. And here's how. Because the very first time that any of us consumed cannabis was through a family member, a brother, a friend, a sister, someone that was cool that said, yo, man, chill out, smoke a joint, relax. Or my mind's going wacky, smoke some of this indica, it'll relax you. It's always been through a friend. And it only provides really 4 things. And they are, it provides us health and wellness, as we all know this, through love and compassion. So those are the 4 things that cannabis rudimentarily provides: health and wellness and love and compassion. Through love and compassion are we secular as beings. So cannabis truly rudimentarily is fundamentally the scrubbing bubbles of our pineal gland. It's the enlightenment of our soul. It's the balance between our natural electromagnetic resonance within the shell of a flesh prison. So our soul has a flesh prison that needs to be nurtured and maintained in a healthy manner. Now, why is it that the drawings and the stonework that they chip of the Anunnaki show you the tree of life? Look at they're not palms. Those are leaves of cannabis. They even states that they brought cannabis here for our health and wellness, spiritually and mentally. So time out a minute. This has been known for how long, yet we try to hold this all back? It all comes down to the Prograde Chemical industries, who control not only medicine, but gasolines, byproducts of them, all the chemicals that they produce, the preservatives that they give us in our foods. Everything is designed to dumb us down. Please understand, whole food, natural, clean waters, non-fluorinated. Eat things that reduce your risk to affecting your connection with what's inside. That God gene, that Higgs boson gene that we all carry, is the most magnificent and underrepresented, and now becoming into the forefront with all this quantum processing and consciousness, subconsciousness, advanced consciousness with AI. The whole thing is one thing. It's all of us. We're just a piece of it in a flesh prison that needs to be, I guess I'll call it sanctified. It needs to be protected. Why? Because when this perishes, that energy must be used again and repurposed. It doesn't die. It's alive. And if you want to be displaced and taken apart into billions of atoms across the universes, good for you. I want to stay in my
flesh prison.
I want to be out of my flesh prison in my soul state. I want my soul to be whole. I want it to be not, hey man, I'm not a fucking angel. None of us are. Okay? I don't plan on being one. But I can share one thing. What I saw on my psychotropic events, I prefer being those beings of the light than I prefer those beings of the dark. So by knowing these things and understanding these things and coupling that with the education from the religions, educations from knowledge from whether it be universities, whether it be from adjunct professors, whether it's professors, whether it's from people right off the streets, I listen to everybody I always give everybody an opportunity. Yeah. Oh, right on. Yeah, yeah. I want to hear what they have to say. I
Yeah.
want them to ask me, dude, what is it with you? Why do you shine like that? What do you mean, dude? Well, because I'm conscious of something through my subconscious that's been connected through a psychotropic connection that has an everlasting effect. It's kept me in touch with the real reality. This prison will fade and it will go.
Yeah.
What I leave behind in the subconscious and consciousness of others will be everlasting through the both of you and others who hear the show and others who are vibrating at that frequency that knows, man, this guy's dropping it. Yeah, dudes, I'm living it. I'm not just dropping this. I left duality about 15 years ago this year. So I left being a multi-billionaire, gave away all my money. I went poor on purpose, Mother Teresa and Gandhi style, because I read enough to know, hey, wait a minute. If these people can do it, and you made me, if you read up about me, if you made me an athlete, you made all these things of me, then what you're doing is challenging this flesh prison to amplify. Okay, I'm going to accept that because in my lifetime, I never obeyed. I fuck you. I don't give a shit. Bah. I fought the law. I didn't care. I was trying to do something. But now, oh, I got humbled when the voice spoke. And I knew, oh my God, this is my one fucking chance in my entire life that I'm ever going to have, knowing everything that I know, that if I drop the ball now, I'm never going to see those pearly gates. I'm never going to get enveloped. I'll be displaced in atoms and quarks throughout millions throughout this universe and never be able to garner myself in a vibratory being again. So, man, knowing all this shit, dude, I just said, okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to take your challenge. And I'm going to run with it the best I know how, the best you made me. And that's what I've been doing for 15 years now. Now, let me just say this. The hardest 15 years of my life, my children, my grandchildren, my businesses, associates, closest, dearest friends, everybody has come, gone, and come back. Because what they saw me do was an insult to what they believed in perception of what their reality was about money, about life, the future, how you're supposed to treat your children or leave them your millions and leave it all to them. No. I showed them that, okay, everybody's at my level. You're equal. I'm less than you because I have nothing. I've given you all this money. I've given you all these things, everybody. Now let's watch you move forward in this world. As they move forward, I started eking it out again. And I let my spirit guide me this time instead of me getting in them. I'm going to go hang out. Fuck you are. This guy says here, you're doing this today. Oh, okay. I'm doing this today. So this is what I've learned. Be obedient to the voice that speaks within you of the light, because there are a few voices that may speak, but there is clearly one that is of good, and we all know this. And nobody, even a mass murderer, or that are indigent, that have no feelings, they know. We all goddamn well know when that voice of goodness speaks, we either act on it or we don't. We disobey. Those of us that obey seem to have it pretty fucking good. And you watch us go around the world like me, all my friends. How did you? Oh my God. Because I took the real leap of faith, you idiots. I didn't just go to church on Sunday. I'm going to church. What happened through Monday through Saturday while you were snorting coke, fucking your neighbor, doing all kinds of other shit and thievery and all kinds of ridiculousness. And here you are now on Sunday trying to claim I'm going to church and forgive me for my sins.
Clean it all up.
I'm not into none of that. Either you're going to glow it and you're going to do like my hat says, my mantra, you're going to send it. You're going to send it or you're not. You're going to be half as good as you should be, or you will be 100% that this shell, this prison is going to harbor your soul so we can be, you're in tune. So I'm in tune. I'm in a check thing. I live in a check thing. And I think all of that comes from cannabis and me understanding as a young kid that I like this. It makes me feel good, Mom. I tell her, Mom, I don't want to take these things. I don't want to do that. I like my cannabis. And she just look at me with that look of like, when your parent looks at you and they think you're a failure, they think that you're some piece of shit that you're never going to
Where did they
amount
go
to.
wrong?
Your fullest potential has been lost,
Yeah.
and you'll never achieve this. And for me to have to know that what it's done for me has put me on a map of humanity now that can't be erased. They'll never steal that from me from Cuba. They'll never steal that bloodline, my regal bloodline from Cuba and Spain. That's gone. But
Yeah.
what they won't ever be able to steal is what God brought together. And that's those two plants that a little boy did as a miracle. And I think I was raised in a way that prepared me to be the great grandfather of hybrid cannabis and do so with dignity, respect, diplomacy for all beings. And here's another question for the two of you. What is the one thing? Because we all know that it resonates the same vibration as a human being, it exudes the same electromagnetic resonance as a human being, and the same heat signature as a human being. It can relate with us when we're vibing with it. But what is it that it does not have that we have?
What, cannabis?
Yeah. It has all of the qualities that we have, except it can't do one thing that we do every day, every moment that you're awake. It doesn't have eyes. It can't see a goddamn thing. It can't judge. It can't judge you. So myself, what I learned was, man, dude, because I used to be a redneck badass. You know, I used to be pretty bad dude. Like I didn't like a lot of things about the way that the world sees the way things should be. I used to be against a lot of things until I realized that cannabis couldn't judge people. It only provided health and wellness with love and compassion. So I had to put my blinders on and go, okay, there's the rainbow people. Here's the black ones, the green ones, the yellow ones, the white ones, the Spanish, all these different ones. I don't give a shit what you are. It's cannabis.
No,
So I learned, I learned to embrace
I
that.
say lately, like with the whole world, everybody's labeling with their fucking, I identify as this and I'm that. Most people I know in the cannabis industry, I don't even know their real name. I know their Instagram handle or their, you know what I mean? Uncle Stoner, for example. I don't know. I know his name's Bobby now, but I don't care what your name is, what your religion is, what your political beliefs are, what you identify as. Just come and get high.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what
Nobody gives a shit anymore about gender, LGBT. We don't care anymore.
We just accept
How does
everybody.
this sound? Leave it alone. Leave it at home.
Yeah.
We don't care about that anymore. Be yourself. And if you want to be sexual, go for it at home. We don't need to know. If you like cannabis and you want to enjoy it, let's share it together.
Why do you need people to know who you want to have sex with or who you're, you know what I mean? It's
or I look at it like this as well. Why do you want people to know that you're ill mentally?
Yeah.
Why do you think that that's a badge of honor to wear when you're displaced by humanity and they don't understand you, and yet 1/10 of the world controls the other 99.9? That's
like
a very odd place to be, considering 50 years ago it was called being in the closet and everybody was happy you leave them alone. But because they wanted us to do, we call it preening, because you want to bring this to the schools and then teach the children this. This is where the line got drawn.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
And that's why nobody cares anymore. So leave it alone, smoke a joint, and just be. That's
just be
what
yourself and don't force anything on anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother. That's where it's at right now. It's a good point that you make, that nobody really cares about the sexuality any longer. We don't give a shit no more. Now, you get these guys out there that are masking, oh, yeah, I'm a tough guy. And hey, nobody gives a shit about how tough you are either. Because that tiny little scrawny little nerd over there, his dick is bigger, he's got more money, and you're just pushing weights. You pick things up, you lift them. So we're not there anymore. The society has moved on, man. And so should everybody. We should all just say, enough's enough, smoke a joint, and relax.
Yeah.
Okay? Around the world. I'm talking religion.
Be who you want to be, but don't force anybody else to join in.
And this religious fanaticism that we're watching around. Could you, everybody just cut the shit? Do you think that your gods want all this type of? Do you think Allah would really? Come on, everybody, let's get a grip. This is fanaticism.
When it comes to God, when like nobody's got it right. whatever they think their picture of their God is, it's not right. And whenever they do get up to, if there is somewhere and they see a being, every religion's going to go, that's what I meant. That's what we were talking about. And then realize they were all talking about the same thing. They're fucking arguing over fucking like small little details from a book that was wrote by a guy in a cave 2,000 years ago.
Incredible that we're even. Look, it's funny that you and I, mainstream people who on media, social media, and other forms of media, how we think alike because we're past all of that. But look at the world. Like I said, 99.9. Look at how many people run with blind. They have.
Oh, yeah. Well, people are just they're influenced by their small community around them, their workplace, their school. If you never travel and leave and see other cultures and other people, you'll always believe that everyone everywhere else is the same, and all the people in China are like this, all the people in Africa are like this.
God.
Just not. You go to Africa and China, you'll meet people like you. You know what I mean? And if you don't, there's 2 billion people in China. If you can't meet someone you like, there's something wrong with you.
Something's wrong with you, right, mate? Hey, I'll say this too. I've traveled the world in the 7 seas. I've been around this planet. People don't go looking for bad people. In fact, when you travel, you see the most beautiful things you'd ever see in your life.
People don't last.
And all the shit that they say about the country, the people, is a lot. It's not true.
No, I've lived in Australia, America. I've traveled Asia and stuff, and people are the same everywhere.
I was just in Mexico. What a beautiful area. Yep, they got their cartels. They live that way, and they have been since 800 years. They've been this way. They live this way. But let me just say this. Cartels don't run around killing just people. They kill organizational people. They run around doing things that are contrite to their beliefs and their control. And in Mexico, I'll be honest with you, even the police, everybody's like, it is what it is, and everybody lives their lives. I met the most beautiful people, man. I met some of them.
They're like, he gets the job done. You know what I mean? What can we say? Sometimes he steps over the line, but he gets the job done. You know what I mean?
You said it exactly.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, what brought you guys to cannabis? I mean, cannabis it came to me as a milagro, as a blessing. So I don't know, what brought you guys to cannabis?
Well, in Ireland, we started off drinking. Well, I did anyway. I don't know about you. I drank before I smoked because it's Ireland.
Oh, you're Irish.
Yeah, we're both Irish. Yeah, we just live in Amsterdam.
Oi! You guys grew up in the pub?
Yeah.
I used to live in Rickmansworth. Check this. I used to live in Rickmansworth in Loudwater. The last drop on the Metropolitan in London.
Oh, okay, nice.
Just past Wembley on the right. Yeah, so I used to live there for years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing up in Ireland, it's more of a drinking culture. And then back then, we would have got soap bar hash, this old, like it would have bits of plastic in it and all. It was horrible. It was disgusting. So that was my introduction to it. Then again, more of a drinker from my younger days. Then 20s, probably doing a lot more drugs. But when I got done with all that, the only thing that stayed constant through it was smoking, like, you know what I mean? So it's...
What's the laws like in Ireland? Can you consume cannabis medically?
Oh, no. There is a medical system, but I think 15 people in the whole country have got it. You need to have stage 4 or something, or you need to be on your deathbed and to go, here, there's a joint for you. Like,
yeah, that's a big problem and a major misconception that many, many, many councils, commissions, governments, politicians have of cannabis. They have a fear. And many times, like myself, it takes years of understanding your constituents, the politicians who have been hired by elected, right? And then it takes people like myself that know them, that know that, hey, Naya, what? You've been smoking weed for fucking 30 years, haven't you? Yeah, I have. Oh, and don't forget, you did too back in college with me. Don't say nothing, Mike. Oh,
I didn't inhale.
I'm going to let them know that you did. Don't you do it, I'll lose my career. Oh, that's right. Either stand with me or fail. And I did that for years. I'd hang out with them and I'd do cocaine, drink with them, smoke with them, and get them all fucked up and then hold that against them. That's what I did.
I like that.
That's how it works for me.
If it's for the right reasons, you know what I mean?
Well, when you have to make a play in cannabis for cannabis, sometimes it's just that. You have to make a play on those who make the rules or write the bills that get heard. Now, mind you, we wrote 15 bills that didn't get traction at all. It was only till the end when we understood fuck the politicians. We'll write the bill. We'll shove it up their asses and make them push it. And if they want to clean that up, they can clean up or add to that. And that's what we end up doing.
Yeah.
That's what we end up doing. But then again, it's very vocal. You get arrested there at the State House, at the Parliament. You stand in the front of the building with your fucking bullhorn. Fuck you. We're smoking cannabis. We don't give a shit. We would do it all with bullhorns. It started out that way with bullhorns and placards. Free the people, free cannabis, free the prisoners for, why arrest people for a plant? We would write, posters up, and we would just be advocating, and then it became activists. You couldn't just sit on your laurels and talk. Who's got the balls to go down to Parliament and grab John Daly by his balls and say, Daly, you're going to help me? Why? Because I know what you got going on with John Tetherland. And Mr. Tetherland tells me these things, eh? And you're going to help us write this bill. Oh, you've got to be able to get through the constituencies to get a bill. Yes. And in Ireland, you'd think it's the land of the green, dude.
We're still we're not anymore, but we were a Catholic country for a long time. You know what I mean? We were run by the church.
That's correct.
And when I was born, like in the 80s, it was illegal to be gay. And then in the last 10 years, we voted in gay marriage. So that's how far it's come in my time. Now we're no longer a religious country. We're a non-demonic or whatever that saying is.
Non-denominational.
Non-denomination, that's it, yeah. So we're now no longer run by the church. So we've come a long way, but we're very, it's very old school, taboo kind of.
Like cannabis is as much as any hard drug.
Yeah.
So you guys can't even sit around and smoke a joint.
Well, we do, but
that's the thing. Ireland is very green. There's a lot of cannabis about Ireland. Like realistically, like even since moving here and like connecting with people from back home, there is cannabis consumers all over the island. So it is there, and people do. It's just not legalized or decriminalized. So, but it is in the works. There's a lot of people back home. You
still get brought to court for a joint or a gram. You know what I mean?
That's insidious. That is the biggest waste of taxpayers' dollars ever involved. Why? And you know what? It's interesting because I know English and Irish. I know that you guys don't get along all the greatest. All right. And I understand that. And I understood it very early on. But in Ireland, you'd think that with the culture of the drinking, because everybody, when it comes lunch, it's pub time. Everybody goes and has a pint or a couple of gins.
We like to indulge in mass amounts. We're a very fucking gluttonous kind of country. Like it's, we don't like to say no to most stuff. You know what I mean? We'll just keep going. So,
right there. I mean, you show up for lunch. Imagine being a politician and showing up for lunch and having a plowman's lunch and picking up a couple of pints and going back to work. Right?
Yeah. Nothing said. Not a word said.
Not a word. That's how you guys live.
Yeah. Nobody would blink an eyelid. Nobody.
It's the culture you guys have. It's very warm. Now I've been in a couple of pubs too, and just to listen to them play the violins and these little guitars and
all.
It gets out of bounds, and they'll do that for 8 hours. It'll be 10 o'clock at night, and you'll look up, and the sun's coming up, and everybody's still drinking and having a good time.
Yeah. Well, once they're pouring pints, them lads will keep playing. They don't give a shit.
I'm telling you, and I've had some of the best times, just being with those kind of like little towns and the local people and learning. Like, I had a couple of buddies that were, I think they call it Cockney. I couldn't understand a bloody fucking word they'd say, but I listened really hard.
Some Turkey accents.
Yeah.
Definitely some Turkey accents.
Man, people in Ireland, we don't understand. You know what I mean? You go down to Cork and Kerry, and I'm struggling. So,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, big time. And you go 10 minutes one way, they've one accent, 10 minutes the other way. It's a completely different accent. It's crazy in Ireland, yeah.
And where are you guys in Ireland?
We're Dublin. We're both in the capital.
Right there, right in the middle of it all. In Dublin!
Dublin's fair city.
It's an awesome place. A lot of people go there and fall in love with Ireland the minute they hit Dublin. Yeah, the people.
It is. And if you get the right weather, the countryside is like nowhere in this world. I swear to God, it's.
Yeah, but you might get that 1 week a month for 2 months, and the rest is shit.
Exactly. If you can catch the summer, we get it for like 3 days. If you get that timed right, you're golden. But then again, if you're stuck in a little country pub, singing all day. It's
Oh,
what Ireland was raised on. That's why we drink so much, because you can't do anything else but be inside out of the rain. Like,
right. That's funny you say that, but you're right. I mean, you're the few months of the year that you get to spend outdoors, they're the most keen. They're so beautiful. I mean,
yeah,
you see everything. It's just
Oh,
beautiful. And then the
yeah,
smells, those smells of the grasses. Oh my
the
God.
nature.
The nature of it. Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. Yeah. I remember
yeah,
that part of Ireland. Yeah. Just
yeah. No,
the
like
vastness. I
for
remember
you,
all
you
the
drive
stone
hours.
walls, fucking
Yeah. Like
everywhere.
I made an ashtray like this. So she does an event called Puff Puff Paint, which is basically stoner arts and crafts. And I made this at one of the pottery nights she did. So this is my little stone wall. You can see my little head on it.
Beautiful.
She,
Puff,
yeah,
puff, paint.
she was just down at Mary Jane Berlin. She done a whole event at the convention down there.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. So
yeah.
you went down and set up and had guests come and paint and puff and hang out?
Yeah,
Pretty much. Literally, we set up for the whole weekend, just a space. We had full vaporizer table set up. We had all the paints and crafts. It was beautiful. Like the whole Mary Jane weekend, amazing. And to be able to provide a space for people to just chill and get high, that
yeah.
it was
It was
a
amazing. She's been doing
event.
the event for like 2 years now. Every week, it's mainly on a Wednesday night. But it's people are coming because they know everyone now. So it's more the community than the
Oi.
painting. But like she's doing pottery one week, then she's doing. I'll show you this. Where's my record?
That's how the cannabis community expands and turns
Yeah,
into a cultural event
yeah,
with the arts and artists, and you bring them together in a collective. Oh, hey, Sunday, it's $20 a space, and they pay 20 quid, and they all get their little 10 by 10, and they put all their crafts. Everybody hangs out drinking,
yeah.
smoking, and carrying on. And
That's pretty
usually
much
the
summed up
vendors
right
buy
there.
from each other, and then
Yeah,
they invite their families, and then that's how that network begins. It's beautiful.
yeah. It is.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
it is. We're really trying to, like, our main focus with everything we're doing is community and connection.
Yeah,
Because like Amsterdam is a beautiful city. We're very lucky with the coffee shops and everything that it has. But we don't have enough spaces to know on Tuesday everyone's here or on Thursday everyone's there. So we're trying to create spaces that no matter what you do, you can always pop by for a joint.
yeah. We do a lot of events and stuff. Every month we do a get-togethers and 420, Christmas, Halloween. We do a fancy dress smoke session. Like
Right
last
on.
last last two Christmases we done. Do you know Pre to Me, the biggest coffee shop in Amsterdam?
Read to me. I've heard of that.
It's like 3 floors and stuff.
Yeah.
It's huge. But the last two Christmases we done like we had 100 people each year, and we gave everyone a selection box with like joints and everything just sponsored from the community. We had joints, edibles, grinders, all this stuff. And then like this year we had an advent calendar with little holes in it, and when you put a hole in it, you could put out like a gram of wax or a puffco or a thing. So we gave away every time we do a session, we just try and spoil the community, just get everyone together and shit. So it's
That's awesome. I have a spin the wheel at my store. The main event. It's in Maine.
a
It's a
main
state
event. I like
in the
that.
northern provinces of New England. It's
Yeah,
called Maine, and we
yeah,
call it the main event. But we have a wheel that you spin, and you come in, and you're going to win. No matter what, you're going to win
yeah. There's
something. Whether
something
it's a
on there.
joint, a vapor cartridge, some
Nice.
hash, rosin,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And on your birthday, on Christmas, any of the major holidays that exist, you come in and we give away a free eighth to anybody that comes in.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we've been very giving.
I like that.
Yeah, my partner Joe Volans, he's really quite the guy. We got a lot going on. We just picked up another store, I believe, in Kittery, Maine. So now we'll have one on one side of the state and one on the other side of the state.
Sick.
So
So got it sandwiched in.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the nice thing is, they're both located next to the border of New Hampshire because the way that it is, and New Hampshire, it's not legal yet. It's decriminalized and it's legal medicinally, but a lot of the patients from New Hampshire go to Maine because the price is so much cheaper. And anybody that goes to my store just says, "Rick Naya told me to come here." You get 25% off.
Oh, nice. We'll
Yeah,
remember that when we come over. So
Oh, yeah, if you ever come over, I'm doing Outpost 7, August 21st to the 24th in Lebanon, Maine. It's we're bringing in musicians from all over, from England, from Spain, France, Germany,
Nice.
Japan, Australia. And these are all superstars that are up and coming and ramping, it's called. So, like, when they do a drop, they get 100,000 to 1 million views on their drop,
Nice.
which is a lot, so be it. But these are the guys that are at the top, about ready to become world recognized superstars,
Yeah.
because guys like me and like Jimmy King, the founder and owner of Wu Tang, I'm going to have some of the Wu Tang brothers showing up. These are friends and families of mine. I've been in the music a long time, so we'll have Wu Tang show up. We got Denam Madrid. Have you ever heard of Denam?
No, don't think so. I'm terrible at new music.
Denam, he's a rage, man. This kid right here, Denom Madrid. And this kid's going to be playing for us. He's a good friend of mine now. And I met him through another. It'd be like I met you guys and you introduced me to this guy that plays music. And I go, hey, yo, man, you're fucking banging. I'm going to drop you. Come over to the US and play. And that's what I'm doing with Denam. And
Nice.
he's like, but the guy gets millions of views. And he'll, in Madrid, they got big events. They do these big events.
Yeah.
And he'll get in stage in front of 100,000 fucking people and send it. And it's like, whoa, Denam.
Yeah. Nice.
Right, he's cutting it hard. He's going deep, and so are the other members that are going to be playing for us. So it's a really big event that's quiet. So a lot of
Yeah.
VIP, a lot of mushrooms, a lot of smoking, a lot of great vibes in the woods, and we
Oh,
have
wow.
campers. Yeah, we have VIP campers and all kinds of crazy shit going on. Fire spinners.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's going to be out of bounds. It's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those ones you go to and you just know when you leave, like, what just happened. That was like,
Yeah. That was an experience.
right. It's not an experience with 200,000 people wrapped around your neck. It's an
Yeah.
experience with like 2 or 3,000 people chilling with some of the best music and food and just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like a VIP drop for people that are in the know. If you know, you know. If you don't, just come general admission. It's $35, I think, for a
Oh,
ticket for the day. It's very
that's not
cheap.
bad at all.
Yeah, yeah, it's very cheap. Very cheap.
If you're talking about somebody giving you a new artist, we just done a podcast with a San Diego artist called Colorasi. He I don't know if you know Tony Balboa. He has Balboa Family Coffee Shop in Amsterdam.
That name sounds familiar too, Tony Balboa.
Yeah, Colorasi's done like 8 songs mentioning Tony Balboa in Amsterdam and stuff, and we just had him on the podcast with Tony. I'll send you a link after. But
That's
he's a
wild.
San Diego artist. If you're ever looking for a new art, well, not new, he's been going for a while. So, but if you're looking for a new one for your slate, like,
yeah, have you ever heard of Mendo Dope?
Mendo Dope, no. Again, I'm not up on music these days.
That's okay. Mendo Dope is another one of these. It's a cultural band. They play music. They're out of the Washington area. They grow some of the biggest plants in the United States there in the Golden Triangle. And these things are like, 20 pounds on a tree that looks that, they're huge. They grow some of the biggest trees in California. They're pretty famous, but they're really close friends of mine too. So yeah, they're into that music scene for cannabis. They sing about legends and how the difficulties of humanity and society has been, and those are the people that have a lot of cojones to get out there and sing and speak and have a passion about cannabis that's real. For me, it's always been cultivating, and you can go on Google and type in Naya cannabis. You might be able to see some of my photos of some of my rarities and some award-winning photos and front cover magazines and High Times and Sensi and just all these magazines. I'm pretty humble. I like to talk, but I don't like talking about me. I'll drop some of the stuff, but it's kind of hard. I want your guests to know that cannabis is not for everyone, and we know this.
Yeah, no,
But for many of us, it's not a culture. It's not anything else other than it's our way to live a life that's in balance with me.
When you asked earlier what the 4 things was, what the 4 things cannabis does, she answered balance.
Balance.
That was her answer. I didn't know what to say. Her one answer. I said health, maybe, which was one, but
balance
was the first thing she said.
Relationships, your mind, your body, everything. Cannabis is balanced. Even if
You,
it brings up something more in the mind or in the body, I think that's for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the way you said, if you keep like ignoring that one voice, it'll keep getting louder and stronger.
She's all about that. Listen to that. Like she has this fucking telepathic fucking. Yeah, she keeps seeing these things.
hey, it's electromagnetic connection with
Yeah.
your. Now remember something. We're a nuclear fusion power plant. What? Yeah, dude. We're like these little nuclear reactors. There's trillions of them in our body. We exude an electromagnetic resonance. So when our flesh prison, our brain and our emotional states and all the different things that our minds and our body do to us and play tricks on us, all of this has to do with diet. Wholesome whole food diet, a little bit of cannabis to detox some of the oxidants and free radicals to remove them so your body stays neutral. It's basically just that. It's an antioxidant with a power scrubber, which I call the THC. Now look at it like this. Here's a great analogy of how cannabis works. So we know that there's a bow when you shoot an arrow. So the arrow, though, there is a point, a shaft, and the feathers. The point being the flavonoids, the very, very finite oils. Flavonoids are some of the finest oils in the planet, in the world that we know of. And on the shaft is where all of the cannabinoids are carried because the thinner oil pulls the heavier oil. So as the arrow is moving, it's moving with a thin oil that's penetrating and delivering the CBD components and the full balance of cannabinoids, along with in the feathers, the fletching is the THC. It's the acid. It's the scrubbing bubble that cleans your nuclei, your cells. So your mitochondria gets just like your teeth or your earwax. It gets, it decays. It needs to be antioxidified or recharged or cleansed properly. There are very few things in this world, if at all, other than cannabis, that can do what it does, and in such a complex way. And using this analogy as an arrow, that's basically what's happening when you consume cannabis. The arrow hits your cell. Either your cell is going to clean up and go, wow, I feel invigorated, and you get peppy like, whoa, and your cell is going to start going after free radicals and clean and antioxidize your body. Or you're not going to like it and you're going to feel odd. But that's what people don't understand. The odd part is that your body is oxified. It needs to be deoxified. It needs to be detoxed. And cannabis is one of the greatest detoxers of our cells in existence. Now, have any genealogist or any professional politician or anybody that wants to talk to me about cannabinoids, and I can assure you they're going to fail with any of the science that they're going to deliver, because I don't attain or work with biased data that's been paid for. This has to be real people stuff, real people knowledge, real science, not just because I work for Squibb or Myers or these big medical companies that say, no, that is it. And we all are learning this now. Now, I don't know if you noticed that we have RFK now as our health minister here in the U.S., right? Did you guys know that?
No.
Well, we have a new health minister here in our country, and he's a Kennedy. He's one of the Irish Kennedys. You know the Kennedys of the United States, right?
Well, they haven't had a great history, them.
Yeah, you guys sure do.
They haven't had a great history, the Kennedys.
Yeah, and whiskey. Don't forget that they were really big on the Irish whiskey in the early days. The Kennedys, they robbed and stole, and they did a lot of shit with that whiskey, and they made a lot of money. That's how they became powerful. One of the very most powerful Irish families in America are they're basically like royalty to our country. Yeah, I mean, and they did it with money, and they did it with power and politics, and they executed two of their sons. Now one of them is out here changing the way that we consume food and all kinds of good things that need to be done, especially regarding the vaccine. Everybody took the vaccine. A lot of people died from it. They're having issues. A lot happened from those COVID. I didn't take one. I said, if I was going to go, let it be me that it calls.
100%. I'd rather choose my death.
Yep, I got sick last year. After 4 or 5 years of not catching it at all, I had quit smoking cigarettes. And right after I quit smoking cigarettes, I got ill. I come to find out that COVID doesn't like nicotine.
That's why we survived.
Read up on COVID and nicotine and what it does to the spike protein. It destroys the spike. It can't stand nicotine.
So we medicated all through COVID.
So can I ask your opinion on nicotine and tobacco?
Well, nicotine's different than tobacco, though it comes from tobacco. It's just a concentrate of the drug, and they put it on a patch, and these people wear these patches now. And they've been drinking this chromium blue. Have you heard of this? This new, like this chromium type drink that they've been drinking, which basically it's a dye that they drink. But this dye evidently reverses all the damages from this COVID or removes the spikes and cleans your body of it and keeps you away from it. Like a what? So they've known a few things. A lot of this was perpetrated on humanity. I want everybody to know. I'll say it right out there, flat as hell. This was a perpetration upon humanity, and it was the beginning of what to expect if things were to get out of hand. And we need to be very careful, the world does, with that form of technology, because as we saw, it crippled the planet, and it made our lives almost hell all over the world. So can you only imagine if they made a real one that really wipes everybody out, except for like A+ blood people or something weird? Imagine though, it would wipe us out. Billions and trillions of people would be gone. We got to be very careful with the way that we allow our elected officials, what's happening behind closed doors. It's a scary thought, man. People come and go, governments don't. So they keep this shit buried, and they don't want people to know. I know our government's treacherous as fuck. Yeah. I know there's some treacherous fuckers, but I got to admit, and a lot of people that had enough with all the other crap that was going on in our country, when Elon came out with that Department of Energy government efficiency and went around finding all of these expenses and costs that our nation was incurring that were like, what? We couldn't, like half of the nation were like in shock. The others are going, we told you something was wrong. And right now we're all kind of like, what's going to happen? Because nobody really knows. And this business with warring with Iran and Israel bombing their nuclear facilities because they keep threatening that they're going to kill them all. And I mean, I don't, all of this has got to stop. It's just insidious recklessness and warmongering for money. Warmongering for the money of the industries. And then what? To destroy children, the sanctity of a child. We're destroying the future potential of beings just because of what? Some money?
Yeah. And they have all the money already.
They have plenty.
They already have all the money. And
everybody has what they need to live their countries. I feel bad for the Iranians because they're always so frightened of their government. Say one bad thing, they just cut your heads off or hands, and they just kill you. They don't even play in those nations. The real law is nothing to be messing around with.
Compared to what's happening, like
I feel bad for London and England and all of you. The actual identity of England it's gone.
But then again, they went around and fucked the whole world, so it's going to come back and bit them in the ass. So
it always does. Look at the rest of the nations that these people that run to, that come from, that take from. Look at the nations that they left. Why are they like that? Why can't you make your name? Then inevitably it'll end up that way. That's how I think humanity has always been. Steal from the. I think Margaret Thatcher said it best of all years and years ago. She said that. She said that socialism was a great thing until the money runs out. And
America.
because
Yeah,
the
we're
wealth,
really bad at Maggie Thatcher's
right, the
quote.
wealthy people's money and their businesses they just keep taking and taking so much and tax and tax and tax. Before you know it, they just can't survive any longer, and it destroys from within. And it's a
Agreed.
pointless measure.
Though. I think they like with COVID, it was a trial, it was a test, all of this to see how much like control and power they could have on the people.
How would they bow down?
Yeah, but I think like after that, unfortunately, they kind of woke up a lot of people. And like even people that may not want to fully admit it now that they were wrong, in that like COVID was a load of bullshit. But that like I think I don't think they have the possibility to do it again. Unless it is something like you say of like an actual something deadly. I don't think they have the power to control the people anymore. I think
Wow.
and I think a lot more people would come up in force.
I
Really and truly, like there's a lot of people that through COVID and lockdown, I had a complete opposite opinion to. I was anti-vax, I was full conspiracy theorists. So I was one of them. But now, as I speak to people that are complete opposite, they've changed. Not as in like, oh, I agree with you, but just like actually, I think I was led the wrong way. You know what I mean? It's no one's comfortable to like I was fooled. No one likes to admit that they're fooled.
Right.
Because it comes and as the world opens, and even as like cannabis becomes legalized in more places, I think that alone is going to have a big impact on the people connecting everything.
I'm in agreement. I'm so in agreement with you because, again, collectively, cannabis is infinite. It'll be here long before we come and go. All of us, it has been. It's part of our human structure, our physiological bodies. We are cannabic beings.
That's a good way to put it. Definitely.
It's a fact. We have cannabic receptors throughout our body, and we receive. Some are very large. You know why they've become large? Because throughout the last few hundred years, we've displaced cannabinoids from our stock for feed, from animals to chickens to cows to goats, and all of the extras that came from hemp and cannabis has been displaced from their diets. So we don't get to consume it. So the receptors get larger, looking for cannabinoids. And trust me, we receive cannabinoids through many of the vegetables and greeneries that we eat already. Everybody has to understand, cannabinoids aren't just in cannabis.
No, even that, so many goats, everything were fed cows on
But
hemp.
are you saying other plants have CBD in it though?
That is correct. They have different forms of cannabinoids within them. And our celiac lining, the great mystery of our body that harbors some very potent acid that breaks food down, but it also receives these peptides, enzymes, and nutrients from that food and brings it into our celiac lining and then delivers it into our what? Our bloodstream, which is touched by who? The cannabic system. The first system to touch any nutrients is the grand orchestrator. What's that? Our cannabic system. How the hell do you think it knows where to deliver the iron, the magnesium, the potassium? All of the different forms of nutrients that you eat has to be orchestrated and moved by organisms that live within our bodies. What?
We skipped that in school.
For sure.
It's
Most
real
doctors don't
business
even know
what's
that.
happening. This is real what's happening. That you imagine just eating carrots all the time thinking your eyes are going to get better. No, your skin will probably turn a little yellow. Your eyes might get a little better, but you'd have to eat truckloads of carrots for that, right? But how does your body know where to deliver all of these nutrients? Because the cannabic system is the grand orchestrator of our body. It's not the bloodstream. It doesn't go in through the blood. It gets nourished through the cannabic system and the celiac lining, yes. But the orchestrator knows where to send this and how much. Because if not, could you imagine? Imagine how long our hair or facet would really grow. How does control that? Right? How does all of these things get really controlled? Well, by design, yeah, and the cannabic system that knows how to balance our organisms.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, huh? I say it in a pretty cool way, man. I explain it in the real sense so that people don't have to go, hey, if I try to explain this, technically speaking, as a theologist or a doctor in a doctor sense, most people would look at you and go, "What did
Oh,
he
you'd
say?
lose me.
What is
Yeah.
he saying?"
Now, a lot of the
I don't
stuff you've
understand.
said today, it was numbers and letters, and I wasn't really following that. Was dumbed down to my kind of level, you know what I mean? And that's kind of, yeah,
I'm cool that way. I explain things to a lot of people that'll never get it until you sit down and go, "Look, we understand that you're having difficulty. You weren't educated in this field. Many
yeah.
people were not.
No, of course.
I was blessed and touched and educated myself counterintuitive to what was being taught. I knew they were lying. I knew
Yeah,
that this was not true.
educate yourself.
Right. So I had to be the guinea pig to go up in front of everybody and go, "Look, I'm proof. Why? I've been smoking cannabis every day for this many years, and yet
Yeah,
listen to me speak. Listen to my intellectualism, listen to the knowledge, listen to the data. Here's my research, here's my binders. There's the data for you to research yourselves, educate yourselves as I have." Now, mind you, this took many years for them to keep believing in the things that I was saying were true.
yeah.
And it is true. And that's what's
A lot
happening
of
around the
people don't
world.
believe it.
They still need to go through the government because many of these medical companies are entrenched in the politics, and that politics pays huge money to these elected officials to shut the fuck up about cannabis because it steals billions away from our medical institutions, and we can't
Yeah.
sell all the pills and pay you $1 million each session that you have. Oh, you have 3 sessions a year. I got to give you $3 million a year to shut the fuck up, and that's kind of what happens in politics with cannabis. You've really got to fight through it, and then you have to hold those elected officials so accountable that you're putting them on the billboard by digital billboards. They don't
Yeah.
have one, buy one, build one, and do it. I did. Put them on the billboards. That's what I did. Put them on my social media shows. Put them on the Rick Naya show. Put them
Yeah.
on my. I put them on the stage and talk in favor of it. So that's kind of what I did. I used a passion to gain the friendships in the political realms, and then my education. I was able to provide the data, the right stuff, and
Yeah.
then vocalize it in a way that they could respect, instead of like,
Yeah.
"Fuck you, man! I smoke weed and you can."
No,
No, it
that's it.
doesn't
You
work
need a good
that way.
advocate
We
to
did that for
articulate
years with the
our points.
bullhorns. Yeah, we did that for years with bullhorns. And one day I'm like, dudes,
Yeah, you look
enough.
like idiots. Yeah.
That doesn't work anymore.
No.
Let's go into the lion's den. And
Yeah.
that's what I called it. For many
Yeah.
years, my second office was the lion's den. That's the House of Representatives. And I would go into the House and I would battle with representatives and give them the data and fight with them to the point where they'd have to give in, or I was threatening them. Fine, if this is the position that you're going to have, the constituents in your region want it legalized. Now we're going to hold you accountable because you're doing this on a personal note. You're not doing it for the constituency. And then I would put them on the news, and I would ruin their careers, basically. And then another person would get elected, and then another one, and then another one, and then before you
Yeah.
know it, hey, right on, more people are getting elected to believe in the right things. And my state, New Hampshire, the mantra is "live free or die."
Nice.
Well, let me live freely, at least medicinally,
Yeah.
and then decriminalize it so I don't go to prison for having a couple of ounces of
Possession.
weed on me.
Yeah. Or
Right?
grown.
Exactly. So we did the right things in New Hampshire to this point, but to legalize it here now, I don't believe it's really worth it because they're trying to control it like they control alcohol. Now, the
But
government here in my state, the state owns the liquor stores. So if
yeah.
you want to buy any form of alcohol, you have to buy it all from the state.
Okay. No. I was gonna say like everything has to be taxed and regulated. If we can't get legalized and be above the law, but that's a totally different thing if it's just a state selling it.
The problem is that when a state gets involved, there's a conflict of interest. A
Especially in
state
America.
especially, and in our state, because we don't have what's called oh, I can't remember the name of it. I'm so sorry. There's a name for when you want to elect officials or when you want to vote or when you want to bring petition. We don't have a petition that you can run around the state. Everybody sign this. Why? Because we want to legalize it. If we have enough signatures, they'll be forced to make it a law. We don't have that here. It's left to a handful of senators and a couple of House representatives. We have like 420 House representatives, and only 5 or 6 of them have a say in all of those. And then the elected senators is like 9 or 11 of those. So you have to get through these 5 and 11 to get anything to happen. And if they're not cut in or they're not getting a kickback, and if it isn't working, fuck
Yeah,
you.
that's it.
Or you
It's
do like
literally
me.
politics.
Right, or you do like me. Oh yeah, cock smooch. I'm throwing you on the TV screen. Oh, look at you doing cocaine. Look at you doing alcohol. And I started doing things that people like Naya. I'd get phone calls from the head of the divisions. Please don't do these things. You're ruining people. That's the point here.
Yeah,
They're not doing what they're not doing what they were elected to do, and that's the critical
their
part.
laws are ruining other people's lives. So
That's the point here. In politics, you either fall in line, shut the fuck up, and do as you're told, or you're not going to be reelected. And if
yeah,
you are, you got more money than the rest of them, eh?
yeah,
And you
that's
pay
it.
them to shut up, and you pay them to get the bills written.
Yeah,
Now, mind you, in the early days when I got involved, you know what Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is.
yeah.
Well, when all of this began, I was a guy that gave $1,000 when it was like, I don't know, 9 zeros and a one. So I became one of the very first sharks and whales of all of the alts and Bitcoins.
Oh no way.
Yeah, when it came to $1, when Bitcoin was $1, I had 140 million. So you can figure out the rest.
Yeah, I
But
never
then,
get into all the crypto and all, but I know it's worth a lot.
yeah,
That's
when it got to 10,000, my face hit the floor. I realized that it's going to hit 100,000. I'll become one of the world's first trillionaires. And then I realized I don't want to be part of this. I'm out. So I gave away the 440 million. Gave away my home, my car, my boat, my planes, my toys, gave everything away. And then I started the thing came and spoke to me. And I said,
yeah,
okay, I'll obey. I'll obey. I promise I'll do this, man. Let's go. So we sent it. And I've been sending it now ever since. I gave up
incredible.
everything that I ever knew that I believed was going to be something to give it up for one thing, and that's cannabis. And to
That's
give my love and my devotion to cannabis far superseded my children's wealth and cries of, oh, you don't
yeah,
love us. Yeah. And now they call me dad. I love you. I can't believe what you've done. I'm so humbled by you,
yeah,
dad. It's like, see, it's not hard to start over, but you have to know that when it speaks to you, when it's truly, and you know this, guys, when it's saying something, act upon that and
yeah,
watch how far that will carry you. It'll bring you a
yeah.
sense of reverence. It brings you a sense of dignity and diplomacy almost. You feel it within you. Um, yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm obeying that thing within, and it delivers really well for me and for those that socialize with me and work with me. My show is called The Rick Naya Show, Making It Happen. Oh,
Nice.
how so? Oh, you don't know? Well, watch my shows and watch all the things that I do. Go to my Instagram, go to my Facebook, go to those pages and just see how does this guy, they always ask people, Ricky, how do you? I don't know. I'm just blessed. I'm healthy. I'm active. I get out there and I stay with the youth. You know, you got to stay with the youngest of them. Why? Because they're the ones cutting the edge. It's not us
Yeah,
lazy. It's not a lazy 20, 30, 40, 50-year-old fuckers. Hell no. These kids are trying to find a way around that already. This is what we don't understand is that these little whippersnappers are brighter, they're quicker, they see, and they don't mind screwing up on a laptop before they figure it out. We're more
yeah,
cautious. Oh no, wait a minute. Oh damn it. Where kids are like, who cares? Just go back. We'll do it over again. Do it over. And so, oh, there it is. Hey, look. Ooh, wow. That works like this. Hey, Dad, did you know I just made $100,000 today because I made an AI program? I put $100 in it and made me 100,000 in 30 days because
yeah,
there's kids doing that right now.
yeah. It's crazy.
So, what are you doing with your time that's going to touch humanity? That's my
Yeah,
biggest question to people. I always leave them with that when it's like, hey, you be talking, you be saying things. So, man, what are you going to do to create some history? What are you going to do to touch humanity? What kind of history are you making today?
yeah. Nice.
No, but
Yeah.
I think it changes people's perspective on how they go about their day. If you realize that you're just going to go and live your life, work, sleep, a bit
Yeah,
of leisure on the weekends, and just keep rolling
yeah,
that
that's
until you're dead.
yeah.
It's
You're
more.
literally just a cog, just a wheel, just going around and around in a circle. Like,
If you realize you can make an impact and leave something there that can keep going on,
yeah,
it doesn't have to be money or wealth. It literally is connection
yeah.
and space or unity,
memories and fucking
and also like nearly a blueprint for others to follow up, to not be afraid to do something different.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like everything in the cannabis industry, we always say there's no blueprint.
No.
Nobody knows what the fuck we're doing. We're just trying to figure a way to make our lives feel at more ease. Nobody feeling like a criminal. The freedom, the health, everything with it.
Yeah. Like
She's
that,
right into it. You're right. Hey, she's right into that shit, ain't she?
Yeah, she gets deep. Yeah,
She's right into it.
yeah. She's passionate about shit like this.
Yes, good.
And I'm the same as what you say. Not everyone needs it, but even the way you speak on it, where the animals back in the day, they were consuming hemp and all of this.
Yeah.
So to some degree, everyone was getting a little extra cannabinoid.
Yeah, whether you consumed it or not, like it was in your diet. It was everything was like rope. Every rope was made with it. Every fucking bit of text, everything was made with it. So it was getting on your skin. It was getting into you either way. You know,
every way. And as you mentioned, hemp were sails and rope. So understand, everything was required. Even governments would require the nation's farmers. You must grow hemp on a portion of your land. You must.
Independence is wrote on hemp.
Oi?
Your Declaration of Independence is wrote on hemp paper.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because Washington was a hemp farmer. So even back then, you know what I mean? It's hemp built everything.
I love it, man. My boy knows my American knowledge here, man. He's sharing that. Right on.
Yeah.
That's true. And I was born on the 4th of July.
Oh, no. Oh, you said that was your birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday. Did you have a good day?
Actually, I did. I had a very peaceful day and a very reflective day.
Nice.
A lot of people, thousands of people came out on Facebook to wish me a happy birthday. It humbled me. When you see that many people, you see 12 and 18, hey, you're cool. All right. Your friends and mom and dad all came out and said happy birthday.
Yeah.
But when thousands of people come and say happy birthday to you, it's very humbling. It flatlines you.
The community.
It really flatlined me. It put me on a very humbled. Yeah, dude. It's kind of like when that happens on social media, and you do a thing, and 26 or 35,000 people see your little reel, and you kind of go, huh? What the fuck? What are they doing with their time? How come they're watching me? And it's like, wow. It's very humbling. It's very touching, Somebody called me a few months ago and said, hey, my nickname's Dickie. Hey, Dickie, you haven't changed one damn bit. What do you mean I haven't changed? Dude, I've known you since you were 12 years old. You haven't changed at all. You still rock star and music and all of this. And you still love cannabis and you're still out there. And look what you've done, Dickie. You haven't changed at all. Everybody changes because you're forced to in this life and in this world to change, to adjust, to this, to that. But me, man, I just sent it, and I just kept being cool. And I didn't want to be nothing other than friendly and loving to people. And if I'm the only one, right? If I'm the only person that you'll ever meet that's going to share love with you, unrestricted, like what do they call that? I don't want anything from you. You're just going to see me shining. And I had people come up to me in fucking grocery stores. Hey, are you Christian? Hey, man, what's up, dude? I'm like, I don't know. What's up, dude? Dude, you're glowing. What is with you? I'm like, no, dude, I'm just me. I'm Rick Naya. I'm this guy. Oh, I knew you were somebody famous. I knew. And people can see the more quiet you are, they'll see the real glow of who you are. And that, my friends, is something to work on. That allows that inner spirit to truly have its highest vibrational form. And when you let go of duality and you allow your spirit to take over, wow, man. Wow. Nothing's fucking cooler than that. And I'm being super frank and honest. Like, I've never expected it. And here I am now, 64 years old, 15 years into this. And it's starting to dawn on me. Wow, your spirit's really you. You're tied into your own spirit now, aren't you? Yeah, you can kind of tell. And it's cool. It's a cool thing, dude. Yeah, it's hard work. Don't get me wrong.
I
And
can imagine.
I'm no saint.
And say
I'm
most
none of
people
that.
never feel that. Most
But
people
to
never get
know,
close to that feeling.
yeah, to know that I'm close to like, hey, you're ascending. You're
Yeah,
preparing. You're preparing that last legacy that you'll have, and do so like a good wine and age nicely and gracefully. And it
yeah,
feels good to have your community know that, and have you guys call through my friends. Say, hey, could you be on the show with these guys? Show them what
yeah,
you're all about. Ricky, go share some love. Oh, you want me to do what? Okay, sure, I'll do that.
I love it.
Yeah. And people don't reckon. I mean, I'm 64 and I sound like I'm still in my 20s. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, I'm ramped up. I don't play. I just, it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games until you make it serious.
The
And that's something that us at For Life, nothing's that serious if there's not a solution.
yeah, of
So
course.
always remember when things get tough and you're really like, oh, he trotted, damn fuck show. No, no, it's not. Uh, that's when you create the solution. And usually it happens when you accept what that little thing is saying inside. Those are little markers on the stepping stones, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
yeah,
Mr.
no.
Naya knows, bro. I've been
I
there and
really
all.
are positivity, and that's
Yeah,
that.
you do.
There's something about you as old school Americans, like Uncle Stoner has, even Soma is very fucking spiritual and stuff. There's something about you as old school American stoners. You just have this different level of spirituality, or just, I don't know.
It's a
That's,
connection. It's the
yeah, it
connection,
must
bro.
be.
Remember this, and I'll share this with the two of you. You're on the show, and I'm on your show gracefully because there's a reason. It's an intertwining of the lights of the goodness of things. And Bobby, through me, has learned much of that. And his
Yeah,
journeys, he has learned. And the more I see him, the more I see the two of him, but both, Deb and Bobby, every time I see them, I see more of that goodness and that love and that uniqueness that you're speaking of. And here in the
yeah,
United States, we've learned that. I'm a product of the flower power childs of the 70s. And when
yeah,
that came around, I thought, wow, this is really neat. I like this kind of stuff. This is neat. But my brothers and sisters and the rest of them were, aristocrats and had to go down that whole upbringing. And it was like, "Ugh," and I'm the one, the black sheep that I didn't want to, but I was forced to.
yeah,
And I made a conscientious choice that I knew that if I didn't, and if I remember keenly from my psychotropic events and understanding keenly the truth of these different dimensions that they speak of, that I was right. And by golly, I was right. And it seems to be everything that those of us that were before me that told me the truth that I was not wanting to accept it were right. And we're only human and we have to learn from our bumps and bruises. But
yeah.
the
You learn
sooner that
more from
we're
your
aware,
mistakes.
righto, but the sooner that you're aware that that goodness inside you that speaks is the same one that speaks in me, as her, as all of us, it's the same one. It's no different. It's the same fucking piece.
Yeah.
That's what's scary.
That's where you feel the connection when you meet other like-minded stoners.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
That's exactly why we're together on the show now. It's the
yeah,
connection of those vibes, even over the internet. Here we are 6,000 miles apart, halfway across the world, doing a
yeah,
live show, and we're speaking about a unity that we all have and a connection.
yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, and we do that through cannabis.
That's why we don't even like really prepare for this, because we know once we meet the right people, we're gonna start talking and not stop talking. So we don't do like questions and this and that, because we know that we're the type of people that will just chat, and then we bring the likes of you and Uncle Stoner on, like you guys can talk. So you know what I mean. But even without that, we'd have the connection. You know what I mean.
Want to hear what you want to share.
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
don't want to just guide you to these ways. We want to actually hear. We want to provide a platform for people to speak.
Yeah.
And to share their stories and to share their knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
We don't want to just direct it. We want it to.
That's it. I always
like
say it's not really an interview. It's more just a conversation with some stoners. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
yeah. When you said that earlier, I kind of knew what you meant, because if Bobby said, "Hey, Rick, you should get on the show," I already kind of know. Many of the shows that I get on, I get answered questions and answers, and
Yeah.
it ends up becoming this because they're so tentatively listening to me, like, Man, this
Yeah.
guy's on. He's on, man. He's on that vibe. This is where it's at. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
everybody needs to know that this vibe I'm on is the vibe that they've been talking about. And I'm just exuding it and sharing this like everywhere I go. And it's a real deal. It's
Yeah.
real. Don't be scared when it speaks, dude, because many people get like they want it. A lot of people do this, like with religion. They pray for something. I need a new yacht, and I've got to have these things met. Holy, for Christ's sakes, it doesn't work this way.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know this. A thought. Do you know what a thought is?
Yeah.
It's an electromagnetic discharge. What happens? Your brain thinks, and it creates a thought. Where does that thought go?
Where?
All over the place with us.
Those thoughts become qubits. They become pieces of an atomic vibration that your electromagnetic resonance sent out. Some of us, I being one, when I'm in that space and I need to do things, and I always try staying connected to everything around me and those who are operating around me and with me, so that the outcome is connected to that greater process.
Yeah.
So I've learned, there's a thing called let go and let God. All right, well, you want to give it a name because they just so happen to give it different names, and all kinds of religious fanaticism, and Catholics and Muslims, they create all of this other stuff. But when you get down to the core of it, that piece of what they talk about is in us too. Even Allah says it, even Jesus says it. It's all out there. They all say it. It's in you, within you. It's all within you. La 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 la. And the Trinity, the Holy Spirit, all of these things are in direct unity within you. What does that mean? Well, it means that you're a child and a piece exactly of that energy. And that energy is magnificently huge. It's greater and more powerful than most people will ever know. I might run out of power. I'm at 1%, and I'm
You
on
can call it
charger.
there if you want.
I'm on charge, so it's working, and we're just going to keep going because
Okay, if you want
it's
to keep
on.
it going, let's do it. Yeah, for
Just
sure.
keep going until it goes. But in the meantime, I want to share my appreciation to being on your show and being able to share some love with your fans in Ireland. And, the great grandfather hybrid cannabis is not just some, fallacy. It's a genetic thing. And it's just a blessing to have been found and to know that I was prepared from childhood to this age to be
The chosen
just,
one.
just that thing and to accept it. It's very difficult. I get very emotional about it many times because it's a daunting task. There's a lot involved in that.
Yeah.
And you sacrifice a lot so that humanity can gain from. Okay. It's like Gandhi. Okay. And Teresa, you look at these people, what they sacrificed. And yeah, it's almost like when those of us who have been chosen understand that, it's almost like a penance. What do you mean? Yeah, bitches, wake up. You done fucked up. You got a window. You want it? Jump in, or just know the reflection there will be just that, a reflection. Just remember that always when that moment comes and it speaks, that you'll have that window. It'll be there. Open the door and go in. Have no fear. Have no fear. You know what? Like they say, walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Have no fear. Why? You're a child and a piece of this magnificent thing. It lies within all of us. Hey, do you guys know how long a DNA strand is?
No.
It stretches from right here between your bosom to
Yeah.
Pluto and back.
Fucking hell. In
Almost
every person, like
I think it's like 1.2 light years or 0.99. I don't know. It's a lot of light years that it stretches. But
if you
you have to
just unravel the whole
understand this
thing.
part about the genomic portion of DNA. It takes a magnetron, a million magnetron, to be able to see the damn strand. So you're looking at something a million times its power to see this string. Then you got to go inside the string, and they only read a 3-inch piece. They claim that other portions are that's unnecessary. But what they fail to tell everybody is that each step in one of those is a parent, a grandparent, and their parents, because each step in that strand is exactly that.
Dublin
And between that, the step, there's a space. It's a little tiny space. That's called allele. in between the stirrup between mom and dad, there's a space there. That's called the allele. That's where God dwelleth, they claim. That's where when everything goes and it creates you, that special space is the allele. That's the name of my genetic company, Allele Genetics, because it's a very, again, everything about what I do
Yeah.
with cannabis is better. My last name is Naya, so there's a word annihilated. Well, I just dropped the IH and put NAYA, Naya-lated. So that's the name of my branding company, and then Allele Genetics is my genomics. So again, I'm just tied into something that you guys have the same piece of, and this is what's the most interesting collective about those of us that weave our fabrics together in this world, whether it be right now online, just hey, chit chatting, or in personal context. Most all of my friends I have consumed cannabis with, most all of them. There are very few that I haven't with, because if not, how could you be my friend? A friend with weed is a friend indeed. And I've always known that when the band is a rockin', don't bother knocking. Those are the mantras of the old '70s that kind of stuck with me as a kid. Cheech and Chong. I know them now. In fact, I've got a painting that Tommy Chong did for a friend, and not a painting, a drawing, and that friend gave it to me. And that friend throughout the years now is being awarded one of my, by the way, I'm also a founding managing director of the Crohn's Foundation. And we're going to be giving Rick Enstis a Blood, Sweat, and Tears Award this year, which is one of the world's most sought after cannabis philanthropy awards. We give those away typically in Las Vegas at the Stratosphere, the big dome. We usually do a big award ceremony there for all the nominees. I don't know what we're doing this year, but yeah, we're usually there in Vegas. So typically, we're out giving awards, sharing our love, and keeping that mantra of making it happen alive, and helping people and businesses understand this mantra of sharing the love and the light will carry you much further than any money or anything else. I am one that can raise his hand very high and say that it's the truth. It's very difficult, but if you have that leap of faith and you truly think that you believe, and you feel it when you go to church, you feel your goosebumps, and you already, hey, that's that little thing inside you speaking, and it's very powerful. It's so powerful that when you truly do, like in the Indian mantras, and the way that you align your chakras and you keep yourself truly in balance, that when your electro connections are truly on point, your thoughts, like I need to get a phone call from my son, and all of a sudden, my phone rings. It's my son. Or I'll be doing things, and I'll send out a vibe, and then I'll tell somebody, hey, did you what you did? You're not going to believe this, but this happened. Yeah, I know. I had these vibes on, bro, and I got these feelings. But let me just say, when you strip yourself of duality, it's the very hardest thing. And I'll share. It'll take 3. If you're some badass motherfucker for real, it'll take you 3 years to strip yourself down to your purest form, the skeleton of a being. That's just the humility of it all humbles you, and you weep at all things. These are things that are extremely cleansing when you're trying to attain ascension. Ascension isn't garnered over a few prayers in your deathbed. This happens in a way that you have to be in tune. You have to know truly that this is happening, and I've learned to do this. And I'm prepared to go right this instant or tomorrow or any. It doesn't matter for me because I'm fully connected. My being is stripped of that toxic stuff. I don't listen to it. I don't abide by it. I only listen to one thing, obey one thing, and the outcome is truly a blessing. The community that I'm with, the cannabis arena. I don't call it the cannabis. I call it the cannabis arena. Well, why? Isn't that a music arena? Yeah. Then a football arena. There are all kinds of arenas, aren't there? Yeah. And there's hundreds of thousands of different kinds of businesses. Yeah. Well, everybody, any one of them, people smoke weed, consume it, have been busted, friends, family, somebody. Now, in this world, it doesn't matter. Cannabis has been here and it's here to stay. and it'll always be here for us. And I think the sooner that the world stops trying to control things and allow cannabis to be free, like tomatoes and just any other type of plant that you can grow,
But it's not
leave
even
it alone.
100 years. It's not even 100 years since it was illegal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The history of cannabis is like this, and then about 100 years ago, it just went like this. You know what I mean?
And then like the vaccines were nowhere, and now they're like this, and all of
Yeah,
what's happening. It's like it's crazy. It went the opposite. Cannabis went down, vaccines went up. Kids with autisms and problems, and just all kinds of mononuclear and nucleic issues, all kinds of diseases that are occurring for young. This isn't just a. This is planned and orchestrated. This isn't like ha ha. This is happening. And we have to be very aware, and we have to be very keen to that. And if you have children and family, protect them, keep themselves clean, safe, clean of mind, clean of soul and spirit, and physically and mentally. These are things that are critical, even for young children. We raise them in the public because this is what we have. We have the public institutions and schools and friends and community. But how far can you let that really go? Yeah. So just be careful out there with what's coming and what may happen. Be prepared to protect yourselves and your souls, your minds, to protect that. It's critically important, because when you're connected to the light and you become one with all of that, that unity creates a much stronger thing. I don't know if you remember, a few years ago, they said there was a day that they chose for everybody to do like this huge prayer all around the world, like a big prayer thing. It was pretty big.
Okay.
And they were doing a prayer for something specific. Well, now, I can't recall what it was specifically, but what happened, the outcome was in the positive, and it went towards something that I think perhaps maybe shouldn't have. So it was one of these things, like this would be an impossibility if they did this. Well, they did it. And that was the date, like when woke became woke and people started waking up to, hey, wait a minute. We are this electromagnetic machine. We are an electromagnetic spirit. We are protecting something greater than they're telling us. They're just all lying. They want our pineal glands hazed. They want us to be dulled down and dumbed down by our phone. They want people to be ill. They want them to be on all of these antibiotics and preservatives and disease-causing things to keep us ill, to keep us sick, to keep us in their systems. It's a big guys. It's terrible.
It's horrible.
But you need to be aware.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, we need to be, and we need to teach our children that. If anything, you kids need to be the ones to carry those banners for the future of mankind, because this is what we're really going to now. We're not just talking about humanity. We're talking mankind.
Yeah.
All right? The future of mankind is at stake now. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Who's got the balls to stand up nationally and internationally? Who's got the biggest cojones out there? It's a battle.
No, that's it.
It all starts with petro and petrograde chemicals that contaminate with plastics and all those poisonous pills and foods and preservatives that they force us to consume.
Yeah.
We have no say.
Again, especially in America, what you get away with on your shelves is criminal. You know what I mean? You come over to the Netherlands, you can only find 4 different types of cereal. You go to America, you've got an aisle and a half full of cereal with crazy numbers and madness in there. You know what I mean?
30, 40 ingredients, and you wonder what the fuck, what is that? That can't be good for you.
And you get flakes and you get wheat, and that's it. If it's not made of that, it's not on the shelf here.
Well, you guys over there in the EU don't consider American bread. It's not even considered bread there.
Bread, like, it's crazy.
It's non-nutritional foam between some glutinous stuff that they bake and give to you, claiming that there's nutrition in it. There's none. It's terrible. Yeah. But they claim by all the additives that are in there, the riboflavins and all this extra shit that they mount into this goop, that this is not
a bread-like substance.
Well, no, there's another thing too. Like here in the U.S., we live in these major cities, and then we have suburbs, and then we have the country. Right? Country people live sanely. Some suburbs live on the border, but many people in the city don't have that opportunity. So they're basically surviving on what they get brought and
Whatever's
fed
brought
to them.
into the city, basically, yeah.
They are now, mind you. You go to distant
And big
European
cities
unions.
like New York, that's what 8, 10 million people plus.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's a
there
lot of
they
mouths to
are
feed.
sitting victim to what they're force fed. So think
Yeah,
about that where when you consider the different countries around the world that, oh, look at the US. Well, the US made some dumb choices by clamming all these people into these major cities, which is really kind of stupid
yeah,
because when any kind of infection, when any kind of problem arises, everybody gets sick.
yeah. No, that's it. I remember seeing some video from like the 80s, and they're talking about how New York is like a man-made prison because people can leave, but they don't. It's just
Right.
this own ecosystem. Anybody who's born there, they don't leave New York.
I
They
know.
basically they never even stop. They barely leave the island.
Yep.
But like it's literally just a man-made prison of their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
their
can
own
leave whenever
demise.
they want, but
Yeah, I know people that live in towns that are at like city blocks and they don't even leave these city regions
yeah,
because why? The hospital's on the end of the block, the grocery store's here, my pharmacy's right there, and my other little shops are right there, and I live 40 floors above, and it's just
yeah,
craziness.
yeah. Like I won't lie. I don't leave the four rings of the four canals of Amsterdam much, but there's a lot in this city. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
you know what I mean. And I've
That
traveled. I've lived in America. I've lived in Australia. I've traveled to Asia and stuff. So I don't mind. The last 7 years I've worked in a coffee shop, so I was working like 5, 6 days a week. So now we're going full time with the podcast. I've also got my clothing brand, 21 by 20. So here I'll show you the hats.
21 by 20, what does that represent?
It's a maths problem. 420.
That yeah, no, I understand. So that's what 2120 is. Good one. Good one.
21 by 20. It's like a subtle kind of stoner brand.
I like that. Did you show that to Uncle Stoner? Are you using that brand to
If you look at one of his latest videos for the squash off, he's wearing this beanie in this video. Yeah. I'll send you one over. Would you like a snapback or a beanie?
Well, you know that we're doing his squash off at our PIFCon, and then I think we're going to bring him over to Outpost 7 as well, so he can do a squash off there
Where's Outpost 7?
in Lebanon, Maine, near my store in Maine.
Okay.
It's in the country. It's a camp out event.
Yeah.
A lot of people will be camping, partying.
Oh,
It's a fest. You know what I'm saying? Like people come there to get
that
proper.
sounds amazing.
They're coming to get proper. They're going to be rolling. They're going to be lit. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be fucking around. It's just like people come there to like they know Papa Rick's events. You know, there's security.
Yeah.
Everybody's good. It's private property. Thousands of people can show up and have a good old time and trust that everything is going to be spot on.
That's lovely, though. That's what people really want.
That's literally it.
Sense of safety and connection. To have that combined with good music, good energy, all that.
It's why we moved to Amsterdam, to have a sense of freedom and connection with other stoners and to be able to not be criminals and, you know what I mean, make some sort of life while consuming cannabis. You know what I mean? It's not too much to ask, I don't think. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think it's too much to ask anybody to allow someone to have their balance and peace without having anybody else come to them and tell them you can't do that.
Yeah.
What? Who the hell are you to tell me that I can't do what? That's kind of how I felt about cannabis. Originally, what happened was my father, I got caught selling weed at the fairgrounds, and my dad, pow, right in the mouth, right in front of everybody. And I was getting arrested, and he was pissed. But I said to him before he hit me again, fuck you. One day it's going to be legal, and I'll be able to sell it at the fairgrounds. You'll see. Pow! But
how right you are.
Here we go. 30 years later, me still doing festivals and concerts and me still doing it. And I'll never forget the one day that it dawned on me that I realized, oh my God, I brought this full cycle.
Yeah.
Now you hear the word that you hear what I said, right? I said, I brought this, but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was far from me. It was the community. It was friends and people who
Yeah,
believed in my voice. Like they believed in
yeah.
what was coming out, and they
People
could
that
get
want
behind it.
to think the same but don't know what to do with their thoughts, and then they see you give them this community and this voice, and they can get behind you. And just by supporting you, they show that they believe in what you're saying and stuff. So
Well, they
this is what
believed
it's
it
all
was for
about. Like,
cannabis and for the betterment of all people, not just me or one group. I chose, even with my brand company and my jeans and stuff, you can't find them. The only place you can find this is at 420 Custom Promos. Bernie, he did them for me. You can buy them online, but I don't press cannabis for money. I don't look for anything from anybody. I give
yeah,
advice. I give clones. I help people grow. I consult. I do everything because I know that this is what I've been asked to do. It isn't because I'm doing it because I want to. If I wanted
yeah,
to, I'd be becoming a trillionaire right now, and
yeah,
just I wouldn't be on the show.
yeah. We couldn't
I'd
get
be
you.
out. Yeah, I'd be out in some submarine,
Yeah.
fucking off. I'd be doing something crazy.
Well, everything you just said is what I need at the moment. So I'm going to pick your brains as we go or after the show another time because I
Yeah,
need
there's a
help
lot
setting up
to
this
what I
whole
do.
kind of,
There's a lot
yeah,
to it. Like with her, with Puff Puff Paint. This is the beginning. Like if there's they don't have one in town, you guys do. Oh, Valentine's, Halloween, Christmas. You do these events where people come with their vendors and
yeah,
they sell their shit, and everybody leaves because if not, they're going to get ratted out.
yeah. She even at Halloween she does pumpkin carving and stuff. So like she gets the different teams around the year and all. So yeah,
Puff
she's
Puff
so
Pumpkin.
pumpkin carving. Then she's done
That's
tote
great.
bags, bleach t-shirts, so many different ideas she's had. It's and as I said, it's all about the community that just keeps coming back because they
Right.
know
Well, will you do
you've
the
made friends
underground
through there.
events? We call them underground. What does that mean? Yeah, we put it all over social media, but there's no date.
Yeah.
Well, how do you get the date? Well, the only way you get through that is you get vetted. What do you mean vetted? We need to know who the fuck you are. And then I
Yeah,
want your email. And when I get
yeah,
your email, I'm going to send you a private one of these things that you read it and then it's gone. Once you get off of it, you go back to open it.
disappearing thing.
What the
Yeah,
fuck? Where'd it go? It's gone. So it's just an address, and that's the day that be there. If you're a vendor, be there at 10. The show starts at
yeah,
12. From 12 to 4, everybody comes, sells their cookies, candies, weed, hash, bash, this, face, blah, 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 and then the show's over, and you go
wrap
home.
it up and go home. Yeah, but
Is that what you?
it's amazing, but it's shit that you have to go to that trouble to
I
get people
know.
together.
I
You know
would.
what
It
I
would be
mean?
even cooler and better if the entire community could come out. You got your beer, you got your baker, you got your butcher, you got your
Yeah,
cannabis, you got your painter, you got your jeweler. Everybody's out on the street together,
yeah,
enjoying a wonderful
oh,
time.
yeah,
That's what we did. So for years, I would bring dignitaries to my events. What do you mean? Famous fucking people. And they would get on the stage, like a band would play, and then all of a sudden a speaker would speak, and then a band, a speaker, a band, a speak. So I would do, I don't know, 50 bands in 3 days, and there'd be a lot of speakers talking about cannabis, but a lot of them were representatives of people that are working in politics and local government that would like a window to talk about it, but
yeah,
they really don't have a window to talk about it because they get shamed in the parliament. So they
yeah,
need to do it at a private event so that the community knows I'm with you and I
yeah,
believe in this.
yeah.
So let's do this again next month. And
With
then
like-minded
you
people.
talk to the fucking local police and you say, listen, fucks, they're not harming anybody. It's the local community. Leave them be. They're on private property. They're not
Yeah,
hurting a goddamn nobody. It's a federal offense. Yeah. And so is you fucking looking the other way when Bobby's bringing the cocaine.
yeah.
Oi! Nobody knows better than me. I know it all. That's how you start out. Puff, puff, paint. Puff, puff,
Yeah.
paint becomes Christmas cake. And then it goes Happy Independence Day. And then
Yeah.
this one. And then your local representatives up there. And I need your votes. Yeah, you need our votes, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Why? Because we're the cannabis community. And look who's here. Your doctor, your lawyer, your plumber. Everybody
Yeah.
in town's here.
No, that's it. It's open. It's open to all. Like between the puff of paint, all our events, we try and get everyone involved. Whether you're
Good.
the biggest stoner in the world, or whether you've had a joint before, you want to just come and chill out. Everyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
There isn't a barrier with cannabis because we don't have a barrier. They
No.
have the barriers.
Yeah, they have
We
the labels and the
don't.
bullshit. Yeah.
That's correct. So when we start the event, you bring the apple guy, the flower lady. Why? Because they're cool and they smoke. Oh,
Yeah.
right out. And then you bring this one out. The next thing you know, everybody's going to know, hey, them are the bad boys in town, but look, they're doing an event. We should go watch, hey?
Look what these criminals are doing now. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. And before you know it, God damn, this is a good show. Good
yeah.
show. That was
So that's it.
lovely. When is the next one? I'd like to do a
Cannabis
bigger
events
one.
they never make us look bad. Nothing ever happens at a cannabis event that makes cannabis look bad.
You know what
Like
makes every event
festival,
look
there's
bad?
drunks
You
and
already know what
drunks and-
you already know what makes events look bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're Irish. We know exactly what makes that look bad.
And before you know it, they're already fighting and fucking holy
Yeah, we're
shit
Irish.
show. And then the girl walks off with another guy. You guys are all pissed off.
Yeah. No, that's it.
That's how it works over there. You guys. But I think it would be neat to have you guys do a festival or do a show or bring it together. Start out small with your local band at the pub. I know we don't want to do it inside the pub. Why? It needs to be outdoors. And when you want to bring on the butler, the fucking librarian, bring them all down here outdoors with a tent out in the the
She
state
just
park.
had
The
that
city.
at Mary Jane. She had an outdoor event. She took over the whole outdoor garden section of Mary Jane. It was magical.
Magical. That word is cool. I love magic.
No, that's her. She's a fairy, so everything's magic. So, and yeah, they want her back next year already. They came over and said, "We love everything you're doing here. We want you back." This is the main people of Mary Jane. They come over on the second day. We've seen enough. We love this. We want this back. This is amazing. It was so great. Yeah.
It's like what you said. It's not just me. It's the community. It's everyone. Like it's a team effort. Like,
yeah. People have to believe in it with you or else it won't go anywhere. Like this 21 by 20, there's a guy that follows the podcast, Sonny. Shout out, Sonny. He's now got 3 tattoos of 21 by 20. He's got 21 by 20 on his neck. He's got 21 by 20 here, 2-pack style. And then on the back of the hat, you'll see I have, where's this? CDXX.
Oi, 2120.
That's Roman numerals for 420.
Oh, for 420, eh?
Yeah, that's Roman for the Roman numerals for 2120 is XXI XXX. So I have that in the works as well. But he has this CDXX tattooed behind his ear. He has 21 by 20 tattooed on his neck, and he has 21 by 20 on his stomach. And one of the other girls has it on her finger. And then if you come onto our lives, you'll see my comment section. Everybody's profile picture, they've added a 21 by 20 hat to their profile picture in all our fans. So like we've already built this kind of, because I give these away free to every guest on the podcast, and then we start giving them away to all the viewers for free and stuff. So we've just built this kind of community with the whole thing.
Yeah, I tell everybody all the time, I'm a walking billboard. So here's how that started. And I wonder if I have my sweater over there. Anyway, what it is I've been throwing cannabis events probably longer than most people ever, like for real. Like I've been throwing festivals like these for a long time. And I got to a point where I realized if I do a t-shirt, it's usually about me or my event or this or the show. And it kept rubbing me wrong because I kept going further and further into the light. Like, oh no, I'm being an egoist, or it's too much. I was being very cautious, like you said earlier. I'm very cognizant of these things, right? So what I decided to do was like, hey man, anybody that comes to my fucking event has to send me a logo right now. And all of a sudden I get like 100 logos. I'm like, right on, check this out. I took a hoodie and put everybody's logo all over it. And then, of course, mine a little bigger here and the event a little bigger on the back. Well, when everybody saw it, they were just, they couldn't believe what they saw. Everybody wanted to buy one. Everybody was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I want one. Where did you get that? Can I get one? Yep. So anyway, I kept going.
Sorry, my laptop just reset by
I don't
itself,
have your volume now.
Oh, wait, let me turn it on.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Well,
Okay.
anyway, what I did
My
is I
laptop
made a sweater
reset,
with
sorry.
all of the logos all over it randomly. Not perfectly. They were all just randomly thrown on there, and it just looked super cool. And can you speak?
Yeah.
Oh, I caught you now. So what happens is when you let go of what you vision of yourself and you give it back to the community, everybody has an outpouring for that. So soon you're going to do a 2020, and the people who are paying for your show or helping you get your podcast by, they get a spot. Here gets a
Yeah.
spot. Here comes a spot. Before you know it, you got 15, 20 spots on your 2020 shirt that you do
Yeah.
for special events only. So
Yeah.
if you're going to go do the Puff Puff event, oh
Yeah.
boy, Puff Puff with Mrs. Queen, with Mr. King, with Mr. Chow, and you put them all on there, and they're all like, "Where did you?" No, mate, these are for you, your sponsors. We made these
Yeah.
specific for your booth rent. Oh, my booth rent covered my T-shirt. Oh, that's so cool! And they right away they put it on. They want to wear
Yeah.
it. So
No, that's it.
that
Like a
is
lot of
how
people,
I
they
yeah.
do like.
It's the little details, but they make
That is a major detail because it just goes to show that you're thinking about all of those who made it possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, for
Yeah,
sure.
and getting them represented out in that way
Yeah.
and together.
No, we do. We do try and show as much love for anyone who's helped and been with us the whole way. Like it's because there's so many people here that have been making edibles and stuff and that, and you know what I mean? And they're only getting started, and together we've tried to help them, promote them, and they've helped us. And it is a raising tides raises all ships, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely, no
let's
question about
help
it.
each other.
Yeah, I've
And
been
that's
doing that forever, brother.
half the reason I wanted to do this podcast was to give people who are hiding what they did for so long a normal voice and just show that they're not criminals, they're not things, they're actually entrepreneurs, businessmen, fucking, you know what I mean?
They're the mailman, the milkman, the gardener, the plumber, the electrician. They're your mom, your dad, the principal, your
your
teacher.
neighbor.
They're the baker. How do I know? Because that's how it started with me. Everybody
Yeah,
knew me in town. I'm like, look, come to my event. No, Ricky, no. And one day, Ricky, your event's pretty big now. I'm like, yeah, dude, please just come. Just
yeah,
come in the town will love you. Before you know it, he'll call me back, bro. My business is blowing up. All I did was go to your festival, bro. People love my
yeah,
barbecue. I said, I told you. Now just help me and keep my post up there and share that love. Share the
yeah.
love and let them know
We
that
are a
this
very
is
supportive community, the cannabis
it's a
community.
community that makes
Yeah,
a nation. It
yeah,
doesn't happen in the nation. It happens from community to communities.
Yeah. As they grow, they start to reach out and connect each other.
yeah.
Before
And
you know it, 3 communities turn into, hey, we're going to have 3,000 people at a festival this year, and this is the real deal.
yeah, no, that's it. But
You bring in 10 musicians, all the best in the region, and everybody knows from each community, wow, those are the best ones. Right on.
yeah,
And usually they'll volunteer and play for free if they know it's a benefit cause for
yeah,
cannabis, medical cannabis.
yeah.
Which is beautiful. The passion
You don't even need to start. I didn't start with, hey, let's legalize. Yay, let's go. That
A lot
wasn't
of
going to
people
work
think
at all.
it's over.
That wasn't going to work at all. But when you talk about a little girl who couldn't walk or talk, and now she's on a bicycle because she's taken RSO, or you talk
Yeah.
about a child who they were going to cut their stomach out because their celiac lining was fucked, but because they took the RSO, it reignited their ability to digest food. I mean, the stories go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. They don't stop, yet the ignorance continues. And this is the biggest fallacy that we have, is that we continue with the same plans over and over and over again with the same
Expecting the
outcome means you're insane.
Yeah,
You
Albert
haven't.
Einstein.
That is the correctest statement ever made by any human being, to continue doing the same thing over and over again and having the same outcome is insanity. The insane thing to have done was do what they did, was remove it from the live stock, from all of the livestock on farms. It needs to be in the lamb. It needs to be in the field. It needs to be used and consumed by these animals, because then we get the type of chromosomal differences between individuals that get it through consuming from an animal's versus consumption directly is completely different. That's
Yeah,
why a lot of people, they don't need cannabis. They're getting a cannabinoid sufficiency through the
yeah,
diets in the form of chromosomal makeup that they have. We're
yeah,
not all the same. But
Yeah.
many of us, though, that use cannabis to mediate the balance, to mediate the problems that we have, we do that. It's our clinical way of taking care of ourselves.
No, and
yeah,
definitely. I'm a
100%.
full believer in it. Like for a lot of people, we all have our different whys, and like for a lot of us, it's also recreational.
Oh
But I
yeah, we
think
don't.
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
the medicinal,
Yeah, we get
like your
to. We
headspace.
do get that fucking
Yeah, yeah.
coming out noticing it.
Yeah,
Recreational. I don't even like to use that word because recreational means to me that I'm having fun with my kids and recreating in public, or I don't like to even use that kind of terminology because it's it too much kid
it's
stuff.
for leisure then.
Adult
Yeah,
use,
Cannabis.
adult consumption, just like
Yeah,
alcohol. It's an
yeah,
adult choice and adult consumption. It's not
yeah.
recreational. We consume alcohol for two reasons. Two. That's it. That's it.
what are they?
One to forget about our sorrows and one to get fucked up with our buddies on a Friday night.
Yeah, that's
All
for
right?
sure.
It's really, it's not much that we drink alcohol for. There's really not a lot of benefit. You just end up getting drunk, talking shit all night, pissing a lot, going to the
Yeah,
bathroom for hours on end.
it's good courage.
Liquid courage by the
Yeah,
window, by each window. Each window is another level of courage. You
yeah,
drink, yeah, get past the 3 pints,
get
then you're by the
overconfident.
window.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's a first
Oh, I
time.
used to drink pints like this, hon. Dunk. Literally,
Oh,
literally,
God.
literally, just knock them back.
Uh,
Oh, I used to live in London. I know the culture. I get it. I know what a plowman's lunch is. I love it. Yeah,
it's hilarious.
it's an amazing trip I've been on, and part of the trip now. You guys are in Ireland now, in Dublin, sharing your
Oh,
show,
we're
eh?
in Amsterdam at the moment.
Oh, you're in
So we're
Amsterdam.
from Ireland, but I live in Amsterdam now 8 years. She's here about 5 years or so. So yeah,
How do you
that's
guys know each other?
we just met. Well, kind of. I used to live in a house. She was going to rent that house when she came over. Never did, but ended up staying in contact with one of my old roommates, and he brought her down to my coffee shop one night, and we ended up just chatting. Like we're just both passionate about weed and creative stuff. And literally, the first night I met her, I'm closing the door of the coffee shop, and we're still chatting at the door just about all these ideas and mad shit.
Oh
So
my,
from day
that's
one, we're just
lovely.
yeah, and it was during lockdown when she came over, so there was nothing to do, but like there was nowhere to go. So everyone just came over
Right.
to my house. We got stoned all the time, and we were coming up with all these ideas. I already had the idea for the podcast, and one day I was like, "She's the perfect fucking co-host," because I'd asked a friend of mine, and then he left and went back to England, and then I met her, and then we're like just chatting all the time about all these
Perfect.
ideas, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "This is what I needed: someone else to believe in. Let's do it. Fuck it, let's go." You know
Well,
what I
it
mean?
seems to be working. It's like coffee and cream. You know what I'm saying? Either you like it or
Yeah.
you don't. I'm enjoying your conversations. I like the
Yeah.
fact that it's a conversation that we're having that's really, it's true to one thing. It's we're staying on cannabis because that's really what is bringing us together.
Yeah. And
So
we don't be here like showing the nugs and be like, this is so many percent. Like some people like that. For me, the science it's not what it's about. For me, the cannabis is about the community, the conversation, the social, the whole lot. You know what I mean? Like if I'm smoking the best stuff, nice. But if I'm not and I'd like it, if once the vibe and the chat's good, I'm happy when I'm smoking. You know what I mean?
sure,
So
sure.
I'm not one of these people out chasing the best and the highest and the strongest and the fucking best packs and all this. There's pages out there and people out there for that, and that's not us. We're here for just real connection, yeah, just normalizing cannabis and just showing what real stoners are like. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, you know, it's kind of funny you say it like that because normalization is the word that is the furthest. Like when we started this show, there's a lot of work to be done. Normalization is key. And puff,
Yeah,
puff, paint, puff, puff, Halloween, puff, puff,
yeah,
puff yourself to death. I don't give a fuck. But
yeah,
that's the way to do this in the community. Have an event, even if it's you, the two of you. All right,
yeah,
it's only the two of us, right? Well, you get one tent, and we're going to call it Tent A Club, and over here, Tent B Club. What is that? I don't know, but you got your club, I got mine, and you talk about cannabis over there, and I'll talk about cannabis over here. Before you know it, somebody's going to say, hey, I like Club B. That's cool. And the other one's going to, I like Club A. They got a lot of information. Hey, this is really neat. Can I help you? Yeah, you want to talk about? And then before you know it, you've really
we are starting to get people who want to just join and help and do kill shit with kill people. That's all we want to do. Like, you
that's
know
what it's about. That's how it starts. It's keen to me that you guys are really starting to make something happen in your area, huh?
We're trying, we're getting we're definitely building. As I said, we're doing sessions all the time. We do one every month. That's just to bring everyone together. We bring coffee shop owners, edible makers, anyone. If you're in the industry or if you're just a tourist, come get high.
You're doing that in Amsterdam now.
Yeah, Amsterdam, yeah.
Right? Oh, now do you charge a booth or do you charge for the space?
We don't. Everything is. We get the shops let us go there. We don't charge anyone to come, and we give them lots of gifts from the community that sponsor us. That's so far we're just about giving and spoiling the community and shit like that. So
market branding, community market branding, getting that brand up, letting people know that this is the space that that we're at tonight, or is it like hey, we're going to the main event on the corner of this canal and that canal,
yeah, there's not
and then
much
everybody shows up there.
Amsterdam's all coffee shops go, leave. There's not much events and stuff. Like the Fairy House is one of the few events that's regular.
They don't have don't they have a function hall or a community center?
Amsterdam is not. They've tried to get rid of the coffee shops. There used to be 700. There's only 160 left. The mayor wants to go down to 60. They want it to be bare minimum, in and out. There's no community vibe in Amsterdam. So that's what we're trying to, with the tourists and the locals, bring everyone, just come get high. There's a few little cliques and they'll do their little things, but we want to just open it to everyone and just
to the worldwide. Because a lot of people have been kind of feeling closed off and nervous to come to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep it grooving that. No, please come.
We have a session next 2 weeks from now, or less than 2 weeks, for hashtag coffee shop. It's our second birthday. We done our first year birthday last year, but we haven't even advertised it in Amsterdam yet. But we have about 12 to 15 people flying in from America, Ireland, England, Scotland, all this coming for this session. So we've more people coming from, we've enough people coming from around the world without the locals, and we haven't even properly announced it here yet. So yeah, we've got a good community and a good fan base and a good following.
What is this event called?
The next one's just hashtags birthday party. It's a coffee shop. Yeah, sorry. It's our second year open, so they're having a birthday. We're gonna have a wake and bake at the coffee shop. Then they have a boat picking us up from 1:30 to 3:30. We're gonna go around the canals blazing for 2 hours, and then back to the shop for 4:20. We're gonna have it decorated, balloons, and just get people high, have edibles there and stuff. So if anybody sees this, you're more than welcome to come along. 15th of July. So
the 15th of July. That's what, next weekend?
Yeah, just next Tuesday after. We've got 7-10 this week as well. There's a session on for July 10th. So we're over at Hanukkah's Boom. There's a session on over there on Thursday, and then we're back to Pre to Me. One of the guys, Duncan Dank, has a smoke session and like a after party. So yeah, there's a few things going, and we're trying to get more.
Sounds exciting. Sounds like you guys got a lot going on.
It is. It's starting to grow. Like, I think with lockdown, it took a lot of communities, be it cannabis or anything. But now people are really starting to like build it back up more. So like there's a lot more. It's taking its time. But as a lot more people are growing, the communities grow, and I think people are even feeling braver to do events themselves.
Yeah.
Which is what we love. You can't be everywhere, so to see it popping up elsewhere is pretty cool.
And the session that's the people are coming over, there's 3 or 4 people coming over by themselves because they know us from online, from the chat room and all this. So there's 2 or 3 people that are doing their first ever solo trip because they know they have a community here to come to. So that in itself is amazing. You know what I mean? That is. They know they're friends. Once they land, they've got people to smoke with and chill with. So that's
good. So, do you publicize these events nationally, or do you publicize them just on media? What do you do?
We just pretty much social media. I had an Instagram with like 8,000 followers that got shut down about a month ago. So now I got a new 2 pages. One of them got shut down. So I
Why
went
do
on
they shut your
TikTok.
page down? Why are they shutting the page down?
It's some sort of algorithm with Meta or some bullshit. So she lost her page, she got it back. I lost it, then got it back, and then lost it again. So
I don't get it. I've been on Instagram and
they've done
Facebook.
a murder spree over here. Like half the community here has lost their pages. They're all starting again on Insta. It's crazy.
So it might be from the government asking them to calm that down.
I don't even know. It's Insta's algorithm, but it's like I have a Facebook connected to my Instagram, which is also Meta, but the Facebook posts are still there. So they've shut down my whole Instagram, but left up the Facebook side of it, which doesn't make sense if they're all one big fucking overlord. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I
That's what
don't
I'd say.
understand
Yeah.
it, but we're on a lot of platforms. Like the podcast comes out on YouTube and Spotify. Then I've gone on to TikTok lately, start doing lives there. Even they're giving me restrictions and stuff. So, yeah, we kind of just try and have a few spread out social media. Again, we're still learning. We don't really. We like the creative side, the tech side, the social media side, fucking all that. We're still kind of figuring that out and kind of not our forte. If you.
Well, you know what? You got Chat GPT and you got Claude out there, and there's a lot of programs out there that can be used. It only costs $20 a month, to get the better type of service for it. But I don't mind using AI to do my posters and some of the stuff that I do, and I like being creative myself and prompting something that can do it for me as well, versus having to pay someone that takes weeks or months at times and never really deliver fully what you were trying to capture. Because it's hard to invoke that. I know because I do a lot of my own art.
Into somebody's mind, what they, you know what I mean? And that's a lot of things. If I'm doing something like if you charge for it, now they own you. You have to give it what they want in their head, and you'll never know what they want in their head. So once they've paid for your services, you now have to deliver what their imagination of it is, which is an impossible feat. You know what I mean? So it's a kind of you're going to leave yourself open to just have to deal with fucking bullshit a lot. You know what I mean? So.
Yes, I do. I actually do know exactly what you mean, brother. I've been down this road a long time trying to put together events and bringing communities together and holding them together for years before it really even takes off. Because sometimes, the commitments, the costs, just the management, this skills necessary to balance everybody and having that window of opportunity available for everybody it can be very difficult.
Yeah, no, especially at the scale of event that you're doing. You know what I mean? You're bringing a lot to the community. That size, 3,000 people all together across a weekend, like that is phenomenal.
3,000. We do as many as 50 to 80,000 people in a weekend.
Wow.
So, what are all of the events that you do? Like conventions, festivals, everything.
Righto. So that's a good question because people might not know, but I'm a founder of a company called 4 Life Entertainment. The number 4 Life Entertainment. You can find that on Instagram. And what we do is we produce the production side of the event. What's that mean? Well, that means like when you're a fan and you walk down and you go to sit down in a chair, that all those chairs were laid out there by a production company. Not just the chairs, but when you look up, you see the rails that you can't cross. They're put up by a company. And then the stage, all the speakers, all the lasers, all the lights, all the sound, the digital wallboards, the drum sets, everything that makes anything happen for a singer just to grab a microphone and jump up on stage.
Yeah.
And everything that's going on around them, all the lights, the digital, woo. That's what we do. We do the entire production.
This is why she wants to get into festivals and get into this big fucking events planning and stuff. So
it's a huge deal. It's a major ordeal. There's a lot that goes on with event planning, coordinating, production. Just follow me and you'll see what I mean. If you just go to Facebook and go to Rick Naya, you'll see a lot of events and things that I contribute to and part of and share with. I'm a Lifetime Achievement Award winner here in New England and in the U.S. for cannabis.
nice.
So I've achieved just about there's not anything else you can do to say that you haven't been there, seen it, and done it. So I've done all of those things. But now, after even that, I'm not finished yet. So my lifetime, you can imagine, this guy has done what? If you just Google my name and scroll through, when it stops at the bottom, it's just more information. That goes on, more information, more information, more information, more information, more information. It just keeps going. And you don't even see that much information on some superstars. You might,
Yeah,
I'm not even lying to you. You go look and you'll see
I
what I
believe
mean.
it for
And
sure.
there's a reason for that. It isn't because I'm on the stage singing or building them. It is because I'm a philanthropist and giving away. It's because of cannabis.
Uh,
It's because of cannabis that we're all here on the show, that we're all sharing this information, that we're all even enjoying music that much better. And
yeah,
and I'm a managing director of the Friends Foundation. Understand that there's a lot of contributions going on, and there has been a lot that's been given to me from the communities. So to be a gladiator, a warrior, a diplomat, a dignitary, and a brother to the cannabis community, to me, I couldn't ask for more than that. There's
yeah.
no place in
And
this planet
this
that
is why we're
anybody
so
could.
grateful to have you on and to hear about this, the stuff you've done. And like, we need, as I said, through Mila and Soma and these people, people need to hear the stories of how this happened. We didn't come legal overnight. Yeah,
Work and effort and community.
perseverance and fucking
Perseverance. Yes, that's the key word here. You know what I tell people? You know what the 5 P's are? The 5 P's are this is what I know of them. It works like this. Positive, professional persistence produces profits. So, when you think about the 5 P's and you're professionally persistent, you will begin to produce profits. You'll persevere. You'll overcome.
yeah.
You'll see how your own dignity of your own couth, your inherent. I'm not going to allow that, because your own soul knows that you're better than you think that you are, and you always incapacitate your soul from being the best that it can be. Don't listen to the fucking thing. It's going to drive you to being the best image that piece of that cell that landed in you, and that allele of it all, the blessing. You know how rare we are? We're so rare. Dude, woo, hey, whoa, wow. It's so rare that we're so special that we're not aware that you're angels in the image of the likeness of some beings that created you so long ago. What? So remember that always. You're a special being that's trying to allow itself, who's harnessed inside this body, to be the best that it can be. Listen to it. It'll do it for you.
Yeah,
It'll change.
allow it.
It'll change a lot for you financially. It'll do a lot for you if that's what you're looking for. But if you allow that thing inside to do its job, look what it's done to me. Look what it's done to all these other people too. I'm just one of many. There's so many of us. But when you're chosen to speak for cannabis, always remember, protect it. Don't allow them to speak nonsense. Make sure that it's clear data and information that they're providing, not biased information that's provided by some organization or a government that says that this is going to fry your brain. I remember this when that egg in the frying pan came out, that commercial. Remember that? This is your brain on
Oh
drugs.
yeah, these are brain on drugs.
Right.
Yeah.
And they cracked the egg. I laughed about that in front of a bunch of people. My mother looked at me. What are you laughing about? That doesn't happen to your brain when you smoke marijuana. I know. I've done it. And I went, whoops. Like, so
Yeah.
I knew back in the early days, it didn't do anything. It made me feel good. It made music and life so much more like alive and electrically connected. It made my balance finally like, this is better. I like this. This is better than miserable or
Yeah, just fucking
somehow
mundane life.
right. Boo-hoo me. And because everybody thinks stoners, all they do is and if they use marijuana, they do heroin and end up on the. Hey, yes, some people do, but not all of us. And I'm one of them.
Yeah, most of us
I'm one to
don't.
prove it. Been there,
Yeah,
done it, done everything that's imaginable. Did I end up
yeah,
fucked up? I didn't end up fucked up. I
yeah,
experimented. I got to see what thing people were talking about to get a better perspective as to what the truth was and what reality is. And
yeah,
so for me to understand the truth of my reality and the perspective of reality that's been put upon us by religions and doctors or medicine and books and education wrong. It does not. And most of what they said is truly a lie. Not everything now. Now, mind you, it's not all a lie. But
Yeah.
for Christ's sakes, a lot of it has been maniacally controlled. And for those of us that are awakened and we work within the spirit that dwells within us, we already know. So stay tuned. There's a lot ahead. There's a lot ahead for you guys. You know, there you are in Amsterdam making some changes for a country. And being in the forefront sometimes can be good. Sometimes it can be scary. But if it does get scary, that's when you stand even taller. And you stand even taller. Defend it. Yeah, defend cannabis at all costs. I did.
No, I
Even my
agree.
children and grandchildren, my businesses and associates. At all costs, I protected cannabis. And there were several of us that helped me and Heather Marie Brown, Erica Goltler. Yeah, there was a few of us there that were really fighting. Glenn Aldrich, Joe LaChance. There was a few people that helped fight for cannabis alongside me. But then again, there's always got to be somebody on the stage. There's always got to be somebody there with that bullhorn or the microphone leading the way, because by golly, there's got to be a trumpet or a trombone or a violin or a guitar.
Noise.
Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying. If there's no noise, yes, you've got to. So when you do your puff, bring a couple people to play some music. What do you mean? Just have them in the corner, pay them $100.
She has DJs, and she only lets people who are stoners DJ because they don't usually get to smoke while these play. So she does have DJs spinning at it. So, and you had a girl, she released a single. She done a live performance as well. So she has had music at it.
Nice.
Once you consume cannabis, come on in with your mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Collaborate and give a space for everyone.
Yeah, when you give them the space to perform and bring their art, they respect that. And if you keep doing it, like we have an event here called the Harvest Cup.
Okay.
And when it started, it started out in one of the biggest arena venues in the state. And I'll never forget, they called me, Mr. Naya, would you please come to our event? I went, yes, please, I'd love to, because I'm a producer and I wanted to see what they were up to. I got there a day early when they were beginning the setup, and I started crying because it was the day that I remembered my dad punching me in the mouth, telling me that this would never end up in an arena and this will never. And I cried, and I told the story to all those people. They cried there with me because they knew it was something that drove me, whether it was subliminal or direct, physical, mental, it all drove me somehow to prove that cannabis wasn't what they were all declaring. And just to be I call them, there's pillars in the community. Well, I'm not a pillar, but what I am is a leg at the table. So if there's a table and there's 4 legs, I'm one of the legs that helped do what we did here in New England and Florida and the Eastern United States. And I will stand toe to toe with any educator, medical provider, or legal teams, or anybody to help provide them with what I call the pulse of where cannabis is and what we should be doing with policies, whether it be national, regional, or world, international. I think I have a great value in what we should be doing with cannabis worldwide. And it isn't just, hey, just make it free for everybody. Like, oh, yeah, okay, we could do like cigarettes and just have some companies manufacture them. If you want to get in, get in. If they pass the grade, they pass the grade. Have it inspected and tested. If your town wants it, just make sure that it's inspected and tested so that the cannabis is healthy, not full of mold and bacteria. That's all. It's pretty much a weights and measures things. How much did you grow and how much weight do you got? Well, I grew 5,000 plants. I got 15,000 pounds. Well, 15,000 pounds of flour. Yes. Okay. Here's the tax that you'll owe on that. But it won't be you. You're the farmer. It's going to be the guy that sells it. Not the manufacturer, not the grower. It should be taxed at that retail segment. And then the government, if they're going to be involved, all they need to do is create a POS, purchase of sale system that they own, that every time a transaction's made, it goes beep, beep, beep. The government gets their money. The rest comes back to the company and the sales, and it's all divided on a SKU, just like any other items. We all have barcodes and SKUs on everything. Well, then it'd be a pretty simple control method financially. And then do like alcohol. Oh, let me see your ID, Mike. Can't sell you nothing without the ID. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go home. Even though I know you for 50 years, just go home so I can make sure I scan that in the machine and it activates the fact that yes, Bob bought a half ounce of cannabis today. Whatever. You know what I mean? But that's the simplest way to have the government stay out of it, yet have their
They'll get their deals.
Right. They'll have their dukes in it. Why? Because you have to purchase the POS from us, and that's a $5,000 or $10,000 investment. And then maintenance every year is going to cost $1,500. And then I make my 10% on every sale. So there you go. Yeah. It's a simple process, but stay the fuck out of it. Test it. Let the community do it like they do milk and hamburgers or hot dogs or pies. And let the community make them and grow them and do it. Let it be tested and then sell it by the state's POS system, and everybody will be paid and happy. Leave the communities alone. Let the communities do what they do. And that is grow the community and be happy. Happy communities deliver. Unhappy communities are miserable as fuck.
Yeah, no,
they're
for
miserable.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know a lot of communities are cannabis driven and some that are alcohol driven. And you go to both and you see what happens all week long and all weekend long. The cannabis community is happy. And then only Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when the drunks come out, that's usually when they really come out, or the alcoholics stay in the pubs. But the drunks come out on Fridays and Saturdays, and that's when shit gets crazy. And all the fights and accidents and all the stupid shit happens on the weekends. Well, it doesn't happen like that with cannabis. We're not like, we're so much more reserved.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants their place, their peace.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like here, they've stopped they're trying to shut down on coffee shops thinking it will stop the stag parties and the fights and the violence, but that's the drunks coming over. That's nothing to do with the cannabis scene over here. Like, you know what I mean? So.
Yep. Nope. The cannabis has nothing to do with violence. No. And anybody that's claiming that that's the case, they're highly mistaken.
Don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, here's what happens. Those fights will occur in the cannabis area or next to one or in one even perhaps. Why? Because some idiot came in drunk and wanted to be a cock smooch and fucking started some shit with this girl and he didn't know and he got his ass whipped. Oh, that's what happens. Yes. Well, cannabis, we're not the ones to throw the first punch usually, but we'll defend women and children and disabled people right away.
Yeah. Now, I worked in a coffee shop. I worked in a coffee shop for 7 years. The only assholes I dealt with were drunk people coming in.
Oh, yeah.
If I didn't have drunk people coming in, I would have had, like, maybe the odd rude people, but...
Yeah, you might have a couple rude fuckers. Yeah. Yeah, there's always a couple rude fuckers because they haven't had smoked yet. They need to smoke because they're anxious. But it's the drunks that just, they don't...
when the drunks
they've lost... they're despondent. They lose their soul. Alcohol, if you know what that means... You know what alcohol means in Arabic?
Poison, no. But
type it up in white, AKHOL. Type up, if you can on your computer, type up what alcohol means in Arabic. It's the thief or the ghost of the soul. It steals your soul. That's what alcohol is. That's why Muslims in the Arabic, you drink alcohol, they cut your fucking head off. They don't because they want to deal with sane souls. Yeah. They don't want to look at your wife.
I can get down with that. I don't know if that's religion, but I agree with it.
Well, there's a lot of that eye for an eye and tooth for tooth that the world believes in because it's basically it's the only fairest things. But then humanity and Christianity has a way of saying, hey, maybe he was hungry and he needed that more than you did.
Justify it.
Aye. And there is justification with those who need to eat, whether it be spiritual, mental, or physiologically consuming food. There's a lot of food that needs to go around. And I think that's the difference between a lot of us, that we get to see that as we travel in our experiences, that we realize, wow, there's a different kind of food everywhere we go, but there's actually a different form of meal that must be consumed. And that is our humility and dignity for all humanity. And above all things, for me, cannabis, to respect it at all costs and to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is not what they say, and it is
No.
should never be controlled the way that they try. It should be left to communities locally, opt in, opt out, but doesn't mean you can't have some. It's one of these things where too many people, too many hands involved trying to control something that they have no reason to
in.
control.
Trying to cash in. Yeah.
Well, remember what happens. Here's what happens, because we know in our country, hey, we're America. So you bring in these companies, they get going. Oh yeah, yeah. Then they buy every other company up, and they become this huge company. Then their weed starts sucking, and their weed gets so bad, no one wants to buy their weed. Then the big company falls under, and then guess what? Pablo and Jerome up underneath that tree. You understand me? You understand what I'm saying? With them jitterbugs be hanging out selling weed. Yeah, they're still in business. Why? Because they're the legacy market. They're the black market. We're the
Yeah, they
market
were
that
here
never went
before.
away. You'll never take that away. You can never even think that a big company with my mighty brands and my yeah, we got this.
Their packs and their
You got a
bullshit.
guy like Mr. Naya who helped create it all. I always flip off the big industry. I flip off the big industry. I'm the one that says, fuck you guys. I don't need to sell anything. Hey, Mr. Naya, let's brand up. Brand up what?
Yeah.
You guys want to brand up something that should be liberally free for all beings to grow, consume, drink, just like a tea, just like growing pumpkins and flowers or cherries and oranges. Leave it alone. They're not going to die from it. They're not. And what'll happen? What happens is what happens like here. It gets so big, and all of a sudden it crashes. Nobody wants to have nothing to do with it anymore, and it's all big deal. Big deal. What's next? What's the next new thing? What's the next new thing? What's funny is we don't see a next new thing. We see hard drugs, DMTs. We see all these little DMT sticks. We see the MDMA. We see Molly. We like to roll.
Readily available.
We like to get freaky. Like to do some cocaine, do some methamphetamines. Everybody's got their choices out there. The problem lies with is if you allow that choice that you make to control you and take over. That's the hard part. That you allow hard drugs to take over. Cannabis can't take over.
No,
it can't take over your world. If it does, make it your world and watch how it returns to you if you do it in the right light. It will give back to you in ways that you can't even imagine. The friendships, the products, the giveaways, the sharing. It's like, oh my God, I didn't even ask for it. Look what they're doing. Yeah, nice. Thank you. Yeah, here. And anybody that knows me knows I go to an event with nothing and I'll leave with $10,000 worth of gifts. But before I leave, I give it all away.
Yeah, nice.
I give it all away. All the hats and shirts and gummies, all the joints and blunts and weed, all the hash and rosins, every lollipop, everything. I give it all away. And I walk out with bags like, oh my God, look, oh my God. Hey, you want some here? And they just look at me like
people that receive that, like they don't get gifted shit like you, and suddenly some guy, they remember that guy that gave them this bag of gummies and this joint outside the thing, man. Yeah. No,
see, that's like at the Harvest Fest. When I go to the Harvest Cup, everybody recognizes me there, and I share my love with them, and they share their love with me. It's one of the best events. I love it. It's one of the best cannabis cups in New England. And then we have NECAN with Mike Clinton doing really good things. Mark and Mike have done a really good job with the New England Cannabis Action Network, and they've done a lot of big events in NECAN. They're big. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on here in New England that a lot of us support. And I just so happen to be again, a diplomat and a dignitary and a stalwart activist, advocate, mentor, consultant.
So I can put them all under the video of everything you're connected to.
Yeah, it's a tough one to do with me. I'm great grandfather Rick Naya. I'm just Rick Naya, dude. And people get to know him and they're like, man, this guy's for real. What do you mean he's for real? Yeah, he's like for real, like real. He just lives in the now, not in the yesterday boohoo and the what's going to happen tomorrow. Oh no, anxiety. Like, what am I propping up now, ramping up? What can I do today to make my day better or someone else's day better? What can I do? And if you can do something for somebody else, great. If you can do it for you, even better. But when you can do both, there's nothing better.
Yeah, no, that's it. And as I said, a rising tide raises all ships. Why not just help each other and just fucking, we can all do cool shit together, and there's no beef and no fucking competition. Just let's all just do it. The cannabis industry is so new. It's not even legal in most places. It's only been legal in a few places in a few years. So to have any sort of brands and social media or anything, it's everybody's new in this thing, and it's only going to get bigger. So
I find that interesting. We've been at this now for 50 years.
no, I
and
mean the public side of it more so. You have been doing the fight for a long time, but this
that's what
kind of
I'm talking
leads
about.
the public
Like
side. So
the fight's not over, but
no,
like
we
what you're
always say
talking
that.
about, what you were just keying in on with the marketing and how it's all going. There's still so much ahead. That you're right, dude. This is just starting. I mean, it's just beginning.
It hasn't started
And
most places. You know
well,
what I
it
mean?
took a lot of balls here in the United States to go against our fucking government too, because there's some stubborn sons of bitches up there. There's a lot of money involved with Prograde Chemicals and the Big Five. The Big Five means the Big Five company owns the Fortune 500 companies, the biggest companies in the world. So there's 5 companies that own them: Prograde Chemicals, medical hospitals, gasoline production, electric production, and I can't remember what the 5th one is, but these 5 things they control all the companies. They own every one of them, from the wheat that grows, right? From the Clorox that's made, from the Fruit Loop dye to the cereal additives. Everything's controlled by these 5 companies.
And they control the FDA as well.
Hey, there you're saying it. And the DEA, because they work hand and foot. So they allowed some drugs to go in and some that are bad, and other countries saying, "Well, that causes cancer."
Which one makes more money? No, what makes more fucking healthy people.
I always wonder why. I've always said anything over 5 ingredients, 5 to 7 ingredients, and anything is too many. And then I wonder how the fuck can they get 30 or 40 in here and say it's okay?
What is it like?
What the fuck is frosting? Hey, frosted flakes. What the fuck is the frosting on the flake?
5 different chemicals crashed into.
What the fuck? Look at them closely and wonder what's this like white stuff all over that's sweet, but what is it? We don't know. It's frosted.
Yeah, that's it.
Frosted death.
Yeah, no, again,
Ramping up these children with all those sugars and all these terrible additives. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Let's look at it this way. When girls were maturing at 16, now they're maturing at like 9 and 10. I got a problem with that shit. That's all chemicals, mate.
Yeah, that is it. It's fucking with your DNA.
Changing all of the boys are like all a lot.
They're getting more and more feminine.
Yeah.
Boys and boys are becoming less masculine, and the Y chromosome is dying. It's like, wait a minute, what's happening? Boys are scared. Back in our day, you didn't let you'd fight it out and it was over. And it's still kind of like that in Ireland, but in many other countries, it's not like that. Like in our country, it's gotten to the point where you wonder. It makes you really wonder, like, what's happening
now on TikTok? That's how you fight a battle now. TikTok posts.
Oh, is that what they do? They do it on TikTok.
They'll call each other out and put each other on blast, and that's the modern day warfare for fucking.
Put them on blast.
Yeah, all online. Just that's how you get them.
Yeah, I don't do the TikTok. I just do this. I do Facebook Live, and I share on Instagram. I don't have millions of followers. I don't want them. Every one of the followers I have, I know.
Yeah,
I've met. Or if they call me a friend, if it says friend, it's usually because I smoked out with you. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for real.
It's better to have that solid base than a fucking load of nobodies or bots or whatever fucking looking at your shit. Like it's.
You got that right, my brother. For real.
We're lucky to have most of our chat and stuff. As I said, they come over for our session. So when we have 20, 30, 40 people come on, we know most, and we've met most of them and all. So it makes a big difference when you're chatting to people online, when you know them, when you put a face to them and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's neat. I think they're in Amsterdam. They do that. That's kind of what the coffee shops really initiated. Was more of like a social place, a social consumption sites is what they were. And it's socially accepted. When there were 600, now there's 160. Now they only want 60. What that does, especially because we all know this, that tourism, not terror, tourists, people that travel,
Yeah.
want to come to Amsterdam and they want to come and see the culture and they want to go to the cannabis district and the red light district. And it's part of like a rite of passage for
Yeah, when in
travelers
Rome.
that are international. We all know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to cut back
100%.
on that would be it'd probably be catastrophic for some of these
The
people.
mayor wants to move the red light as well. She wants to put it in like an industrial estate somewhere. So she really wants to gut this city. She thinks the bridges and the museums are enough. You know what I mean?
Well, that's funny, but who elected her?
God only knows, man. I think she only got re-elected not like last year or so.
Well,
So
what has to happen is that the people that are electing have to be convinced that these
we're not
decisions
even
are.
touched. We can't even make a difference over here. We're just well, we're not tourists, but we're European citizens. But we don't have much say. We can
You're part of
say
the
what we want
union.
online.
You're part of the European Union. You can travel here, live there, anywhere, right?
Yeah. But I don't think we can vote. Maybe we can register and stuff, but yeah, it's I don't know. See, the Dutch people aren't that sold on the cannabis too. They're doing an experiment at the moment where they've given 10 growers a free a legal license to grow, and they've picked 10 towns and something like that, isn't it? And they're going to supply these 10 towns to see if the government can have their legal grow facilities. So they're starting an experiment to go down that route. So we'll see what happens. But a lot of people, like we only had when I think our man Patrick was on, he said some towns in Amsterdam won't have a coffee shop because it's not fully legal. They know they have to buy black market weed. They know criminals have to come in there to sell their goods. Not technical criminals, but deemed criminals. Sorry, yeah, you know what I mean? But
right,
like,
they deem you a criminal because you're doing a crime, and that is the worst thing in the world when you're providing health and wellness and balance to a community.
Yeah, but like once it's in the shop, it's legal. But the people growing it and bringing it to the shop, they're the criminals. And then once it's in the shop, now we can tax it. Now we can sell it. So it has to appear in the shop. And if it doesn't appear in the shop, anything you do to get it in the shop is deemed a crime.
Wow.
So that's why a lot of little towns that want this criminal empire opening up in their shop, in their town or whatever, you know what I mean? So with the legal experiment, maybe it might change and they might be like, okay, so they can buy from a couple of different dispensaries and okay, that's a legal thing. Let's have a little shop somewhere where our kids can go and smoke. They don't need to go into the next town or whatever. Or, you know what I mean? So
do you guys have a venue where they have concerts in town that are big, or is it marginalized?
Like, we do, but not cannabis friendly for sure.
That's my mission, is more to, like, Amsterdam is quite an open space, and technically you can consume cannabis anywhere. It's just down to the establishment where you can't, because there's no law actually against consuming cannabis. So Amsterdam and the Netherlands is very on loopholes with their law.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of venues, and definitely, like, I think they're opening up to a lot more like cannabis events and cannabis based, like.
But you said outdoor, you'd get away with a lot more.
Well, we used to do High Times events there, and the World Cannabis Cups were held in Amsterdam, and how a nation could turn away from actually being a cultural.
We're in reverse.
Well, yeah, you have to be understanding of this, that it's a almost a cultural revolution occurred there that the world knows that Amsterdam held that slot, dude, and they should not cower from that, and they should actually stand even taller. The world needs places.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a gap, like between like your age group and like up to Mila. There's a lot of that age group. There's a jump between them and now their younger generation, like the sons and daughters of them, that I don't think they have the same passion and the same mindset around cannabis. They have the wealth and the level, but they don't have the passion.
Yeah, the next generation.
I'm in agreement.
Gap of what has happened the last while with the lack of events, the lack of spaces, is the lack of
community.
passion.
Yeah.
So now with what we're trying to do and what I think the new people that are trying to bring it in are trying to create spaces and are trying to go to different venues to see can we have cannabis consumed within this, be it vaporizing, edibles, fine dining and a
Yeah.
So I
Take
think
what we
there's
get.
that. It did lose its way because there's a lot of activists, and now the generation is a bit more about the flashy and the packs and that. So I think that's where Amsterdam's kind of in a bit of a mess. It needs to go back to the old ways. You know what I mean? Getting the community spaces, getting the people together.
It's the social
And not to
aspect of it all, yeah.
that, and not to also be afraid to go against the man. Like, I'm not, as expats, we're now starting to look into this more, but I'm not seeing any Dutch people actually come up and against the politicians.
The way you would have.
Yeah, that hasn't happened in a long time. So that we're learning as we're going, that there's not many people actually working on the laws and working on the systems to keep these places. Like, we're lucky that we're
Okay.
happy. So
I
that
think there's an avenue to look at considering tourism. You have a lot of tourists that come to Amsterdam specifically for the district and specifically to party and go and smoke weed and see the
Yeah.
coffee shops and be there. I think an evaluation in the nation would have to be done to look at the amount of tourists that come, have a poll to be made as tourists are walking, hey, sign this. Did you come here for this and that? Yes, we're just trying to figure things. And you have people going out pulling these polls. And then,
Yeah.
yep, and then that's how in your country you can come to find rather quickly how much of an economic impact, and I'm talking the hundreds of millions or billions of dollars that these tourists are bringing in specific to that. So when you have people
100%.
saying no, wouldn't that be counterintuitive to a socialist nation that needs the revenue and resources,
Yeah.
specifically considering you're the nation that began this?
Yeah, no, for sure.
You should monopolize that. You should monopolize on that. And categorically, this is for the future generations of the nation, not just what's happening right here and now. We're talking about
Yeah.
children's welfare, financial interests, and educational interests, medicinal interests, all forms of interest that can be compounded by expanding that versus marginalizing that.
Yeah,
That's quite interesting.
100%.
Because it is the revenue that the coffee shops bring in, and not just directly through the coffee shops, through the hotels, through the tourism, through the food, the restaurant,
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
They pump it. They
Yeah,
fill it. Like the
100%.
revenue that has turned over within this country.
Then you guys need to find a way to analyze, go on ChatGPT, Claude, any of those programs. Say, Claude, I'd like to make a determination from the date of January 1st, 2024 through December 29th, 31st, 2025. How many people come to this country for cannabis? And if so, what is the economic impact on these certain things? Hotels, foods, this, that. Before you know it, you're going to have a total. Your mouths hit the floor and you go, enough of what our government's saying. They need to take a really close look at what they're saying, because if they're marginalizing this is going to affect the nation much worse later. They need to expand
100%.
their technology and prepare themselves for the future, and using cannabis and cannabinoids in different manners, not just for medicinal, for technological advancements, plastics, and other forms of advancements that cannabis is going to play a critical role in here in this next millennium. So,
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's how I talk. When you guys get me going about cannabis, it's like I have conversation.
No, I
It is
love that passion.
unbelievable. And here's what's interesting. I've always said I should be the commissioner of that. No, I don't want to be the commissioner. Well, yeah, maybe I should be a commissioner. Well, no, I don't want to be on a commission. Why? Because I want to work with the little guy that got arrested 50 times that sits under the corner of a tree and sells nickel bags to the community.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to help him. He sacrificed it all so the community could have that nickel bag. Back in the day, we were all, hey man, oh my weed, oh yeah, calm down, okay? Because remember, most of us, and people say recreational, my ass, anybody that puts a joint up to their mouths, whether they think so at first, it's just for shits and giggles, it's usually because something. And if they continue to use, we know it's because it's something more medicinal.
Yeah,
that's correct. It's not just, hey, yeah.
No, that's a first time smoker, a few times, someone who has a joint every now and again. People that smoke it on the daily and it's part of their life, and it's like drinking a cup of tea, or you know what I mean? It's like having a cigarette. It's just part of what you do all day, every day. And that's a different type of
it's like you said earlier, you live a life in Ireland. What happens after a day of work? You're walking home usually. It's not usually a long ride. And if it is, you're pulling up to the pub and you're going to stop in and get a
Yeah.
couple pints of Guinness, or something's going to go down, maybe
Yeah.
even dinner there. Then you go home.
Yeah.
It's part of the culture. That's what you
Yeah,
do.
100%. But even that with the like over the years with them clamping down on drink driving and stuff, like that community's gone. You know what I mean? The local, only maybe the local pubs, but it's harder for people to get out. It's more expensive. They used to just go drive, have 2 or 3 pints, a bit of food.
Right.
You know what I mean? They weren't that drunk, but now they've brought it down to half a pint. You know what I mean? And people are like, what's the point? This, that, and the other. And it has ruined a lot of especially in the smaller rural community where their pub was their whole life. You know what I mean? They bring their tractor down there after work and have a few
Right.
pints.
They say
you know?
they ride their cow or horse down.
Yeah,
Fuck
you
that.
know what I mean?
I'm going to drink 8
you know?
pints. Fuck you. I'm riding my
Yeah.
horse home.
That's it. Brettalyze me on this. The horse is driving, brettalyze him.
How funny, but so true, huh?
Yeah, that's it, man. But
That's where we're at. I mean, you think about this. Look where we were, like me, 50, 60 years ago. This was bad news. Well, not really, because 60 years ago, cannabis was yet still to be fully illegal. That was still legal. People don't know the true laws about cannabis and how quickly in the 70s that revolutionized with the war on drugs. Quite interesting, huh?
Oh, for sure, man. It's crazy. And it woke people up because alcohol keeps you numb. It's the perfect drug to keep the masses at bay. You know what I mean? But
pineal gland.
Cannabis just in the 60s, 70s, people start going, wait, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? What's happening? Because it wasn't that get through the week, get drunk at the weekend, get through the week, get drunk. It wasn't that just, it was every day is the same kind of asking questions and speaking to people. And you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? What the fuck? And yeah, they didn't like that. Whatever about not being able to monetize and monopolize, whatever, with the money side of it, it also let people start not being inebriated and they're asking real questions, having real conversations, and suddenly that's the scariest part of it all. You know what I mean? These people are coming together. They're not forgetting it the next day. They're not just saying the same thing on loop. They're actually well thought fucking
right. You think about that. We go around the guys that drink alcohol, they're on a loop the whole time.
Man. They're on the same conversation 10 times. Like, did I tell you what I seen earlier? You're like, yeah, 5 times already. You know what I mean?
Right. And then here comes 6 and 7 before you know it. Yeah.
Where cannabis, it's, you know what I mean? You take up the conversation. Like next time we talk to you, like last time we talked for 3 hours, we talked about this. We build on from that. And don't be going, I'm the hybrid fucking government, you know what I mean? All this and just saying the same stuff on repeat. We'd actually have a straight through conversation and fucking it's a different.
I'd love very much when the day comes that Ireland goes legal.
Oh man, people ask me will I ever move home? I say yeah, when they legalize cannabis. So you know what I mean?
If they do in Ireland, dude, I want somebody there to get a hold of me so we can drop a very rare Irish, very proper, something that no one in the world has.
Yeah.
And genomics that come from the antiquities that people will know and that they'll last a lifetime for Ireland. I'll work on something for that.
Yeah, nice. Emerald green.
The great grandfather will drop some crazy shit for the Irish.
Yeah.
It would just be like Ireland is beautiful, but I think the people need it.
Oh, it'd be a different world altogether.
Haggis hash.
They fucking do. They need it.
Yeah, no, it'd be it'd be amazing place.
One of the most, apart from nearly the Amazon rainforest, Ireland is one of the best places for growing.
Oh, our ecosystem, our food and our meat and all that is different. So imagine the weed we could grow. We don't have the sun much, but we could sort that out. You know what I mean?
You don't need the sun because you can do greenhouses anywhere in the world.
No, that's it.
But the ocean air and that cool, misty, that environment would develop some really ripe terps.
Yeah, man. Some stuff the world's never seen before.
Well, I have those seeds.
Yeah, man.
There are very few people in the world that can even jump up and say, I could.
So what's the seeds? What's the base genetics of the seeds you have in your safe?
The basis of the seeds that I have in my safe are just genomics from around the world from the 70s.
Yeah, and they went on to be.
They went on to be the skunk, the Northern Light, the Crippy, and from there you already know what Piffs is and all the
Yeah,
haze. And then when it went from Neville over to Amsterdam, just look at Sensi Seed Bank stock and you'll know, like, what the fuck?
yeah,
So skunk and Northern Lights have probably been crossed with more different cannabis and even back crossed into each other by mistake, just by all the different crossing. That
yeah,
what we call all the good cannabis now is basically muddled. You don't really know what's in it because there's too many cousins and sisters and brothers and too much that went
yeah,
on with all these people that claim these make these
yeah.
claims.
Far from
So
Adam and
the
Eve,
only
as
way,
they
yeah, the only way to
say.
really know that now is to go, hey, listen, motherfucker, I got a 1974 Colombian Gold, Punta Roja, and a Santa Marta Gold. What? Yeah, and then I have some Laotian from Laos from 1970s, and then I have some Thai, and then I have some Afghani, and then some Pakistani, Iranian. I have a bunch of different seeds from the 70s and like early 80s that are like, what the what? So you just drop one of those and I marry one or two of those and do a back cross, and then you have something that in the world no one has. Like, what do you mean? No one has
Yeah,
this. They don't have this. They
yeah.
don't have it. They don't
You
have
just
the
go back
gene.
to the
They
start of
can't have
time.
it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like if you
The
see
new
some of the
creation.
pictures, right, you see some of the pictures of the weed that I grow, and you'll know why I don't enter contests. You just look at mine and look at everybody else's, and you kind of go, wow, what the no
Uh,
wonder why he's the great grandfather. I'm blessed. And that's why I'm a judge.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
So,
I judge.
if
I
you
do the
began it all, you should know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what happens when like instead of saving baseball cards, I was saving seeds. And
Yeah,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like instead of saving thimbles and spoons, I was saving seeds and knowing about them and understanding that country, the longitude, the latitude, the heat, the distemperament of the plants. And I learned to do all this privately and quietly without letting everybody know. And then when
yeah.
they came to me with the genetics, they're like, Ricky, man, look, dude, they're talking about your weed. I'm like, what? Leave me alone. I'm busy. But anyway,
The legacy you have, like the amount of weed we have because of what you did with
oh
that,
my,
it's
oh
crazy to
my,
think of.
the banana Kush. There's a bunch of the Toll
Like
House Pie.
you're not
I,
a grandfather. You're a great, 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 great. You know what I mean? That's a lineage gone down through generations. You know what I mean?
yes, yes, yes. It's the great grandfather. It's like, oh my God, what do you mean? Like, you can't go back that much farther and
Yeah,
claim, well, here's why they found me. Because when they did the genetic testing, they could only go back so far. And then they hit hybrid. It was like, what's a hybrid? What's this? And it was like,
yeah,
the Gainesville green. What's this? So what? And that was the jot and the squiggle, so to speak. I like the
yeah.
hieroglyphs. It was in the hieroglyphs. It was something that was like, what's that?
That's mental.
And the Gainesville
Even
green
they
is,
were able to discover it by just breaking it down and go, wait, it must be this.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
they invited me to speak at an event, and then they called me over. Hi, Mr. Naya, we'd like to talk to you about your genetics and blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, sure, right on, let's go. So they bring me over and they start asking these questions, and then they show me this big piece of glass, and on
yeah,
the glass it was like digitally lit up, and in the middle they had a line that went to indica, and then sativa. And then there was a
yeah,
line that went down to a globe of hybrids. So you had indicas, sativas, and hybrids. And
yeah,
between the lines, I kept seeing this little line right at the beginning of where it all started. It's like, wait a minute, why is there these little lines? And then, well, anyway, I kept looking at all the different genomics, knowing, hey, look, there's the OG Kush, there's this, there's that. Oh my God, there's a raspberry. And I was looking at all the different sativas and all the indicas. Like I knew them all. Like, wow, this is fucking awesome. And then
yeah,
and then I'm looking at all the hybrids. Wow, look, there's Gainesville, there's this and that. I mean, there was no Gainesville. But there was all these other names. I'm looking at skunk, the lice, this, that. And I'm looking at everything. And then I happen to reach over and I look at the lady and I go, so what's that jot and squiggle between the globes on the lines here that connect everything?
yeah.
That- And then I looked at her and I go, is that my Gainesville green? And she looked at me and goes, well, Mr. Naya, yes, it is. That's why we're here today. I thought, oh my goodness. Like, oh, wow. Woo. that's like the key to all of this, isn't it? And she
That's
goes, well,
crazy.
yes, it is. And I said, wow. And then they asked me if I could have the genetics. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that, because understanding this, that means I hold the key to all of these hybrids all over the world that have any of
Yeah,
my genomics in it. And that's a very powerful, powerful thing,
yeah.
especially in genetics and medicine. So I'm going to recuse myself. And then they stopped filming. And I
That's
walked away.
insane.
And other people were going, right on, Rick.
Yeah,
And other people were like, "Oh my God, that's crazy? That was worth millions to him." And like, but it wasn't, because what they did is they took all that information, sold it to a company, and everybody lost their rights. So guess who holds the keys to
yeah.
it?
The
The great
rightly
great
so.
great great grandfather has a key,
Yeah,
and it's not my key.
family film.
It's not my key. It's the mysteries of it all. Like you said earlier, some of this is mysterious, and this comes from something well above a plane that I had any vibration in. But
Yeah,
it did choose me as a vessel, and it put me through the rigors throughout my life. And by the time I was 50 and it all came to me, I think I was prepared, but not as prepared as I became, and
yeah.
who I've become through
No, of
cannabis.
course.
So
Yeah.
this whole journey,
Always
dudes,
learning.
it's like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, amazing.
it's
It's just so
heartwarming,
so
yeah.
amazing to hear the whole story and to hear like it's
Where it's all come
yeah,
from.
how we got here.
Yeah.
No, and forever thanks to you and everyone who has helped us get here, and we hope to carry on the fight as well as we can and keep keep going forward, as I said, to normalize it,
Oh yeah,
destigmatize it, to fucking decriminalize it, and all kind of eyes in it. Yeah, you know what I mean.
uh,
Till it's just normal. It's part of your 5 a day fruit and veg. You know what I mean. It's your yeah. It's the way it has to be. But we're just coming up on the 3 hour mark here, so I think we've taken up enough of
woo!
your time, and it's been amazing to hear your stories.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate being here with you guys, and I hope that all of your fans and everybody out there get a chance to listen to this. And
yeah,
just remember that above all things, rudimentarily speaking, cannabis provides health and wellness through love and compassion, and that never stops. It always intertwining itself throughout our
infinite.
lives. So always remember that, if
Yeah,
anything.
that's a beautiful way to end it. And have
Right
you any
on.
plans to come to Amsterdam anytime soon?
I've been asked in the past, and I do shows, and I get around a lot. I'll be going to Spain sometime in September, I believe, after we do our August show here.
For
Uh,
Bilbao?
excuse me?
Is that for Bilbao? Cannabis in Bilbao, I think.
I may go to Bilbao. I may go there just to see my castle and spend some time on
Yeah. But
spend some time.
if you're ever in Europe, make sure you hit us up. We'll come and meet you somewhere and get a joint with you. And if we're in America, we'll definitely come by.
I'd like to come up to
100%.
Amsterdam. I'd like to come and see a few people there.
Yeah.
It'd be nice
We-
to see Mila and hang
We've
out, and
had
then
this.
have Bobby come up. You know, me,
We've had
Bobby,
an
Mila.
idea of getting like a legends table. You, Mila, Bobby, Soma, all these people, and just get you on with the mic and just like maybe then we'll actually have 5 questions because we'll know what
Yair
we're going to
Velleman.
talk.
We could have Yair there.
Yeah, anyone who has been there from the start and just hear about the origins. We'll be off in the corner. We don't even matter. We just want to get the ball rolling and hear these stories of all used together. So if you and Bobby come together, give us time and we'll make sure we can get Mila, Soma, and anybody else you think deserves a spot at the table. And we'll get you and we'll just take like just 4 or 5 questions, just where did you all meet and let that go, and then and just let you all talk about how he's all, and that would be amazing because
It'd be a beautiful thing. It
yeah,
would be a day to reckon. It would certainly be a piece of
100%.
it'd be legendary history made that day. And
Yeah,
it's
it
the kind
would.
of thing that you record and share back later on
Yeah,
these drops, you know.
100%. Yeah, no, just
Yeah,
to hear all them stories and people remembering bits that other people didn't and goes, oh, I forgot all about that. And just to hear all how it's meshed over the years and what it was like for you back when you were our age and doing this. And yeah, no, we have to get that going. So you and Bobby get over here together. That would be a great fucking
yeah, we
table.
may. He's talked about it. He wanted me to come out of a couple of the events, but because of my productions and all the different shows and concerts that we
I
do,
can imagine.
it makes it kind of hard. That's like if ever he has a squash off,
Yeah.
I'm always an honored guest. So all I need to do is even if he's got a table full of guests and I show up during the show, he's gonna
Add a
move the
seat.
tables and sit me
Yeah.
down. That's how close of friends he and I are.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love Bobby. He's a very dear friend of mine.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's a
We
legend.
need to create some madness here to get you guys over.
Yeah, get you over.
Yeah, you guys work on that. You know, sponsorships are key. That's what Bobby needs. Bobby needs sponsorships to get him because he brings trophies, he brings himself, and he needs to pay for his flights and his week there and this and this and that. I
Yeah,
get
no,
that.
for sure.
I do that too on occasion. It depends on what kind of events they are. If they're big ass events, you're certainly going to make sure you're paying for me to get there because I'm not going to pay for you to have me there because
Yeah.
you don't need me there. If you don't need me there. If you
Yeah, that's
need me
it.
there, then I'm doing your production, I'm doing your show, your lights, your stage, and I'm doing all this production shit anyway.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it is with Rick. If you're doing something big, I'm going to be involved because I'll use my company to help make it happen. If not, then I'll just show up as a guest and fly me in, and I'll hang out for a few days, and then I'll be out. I don't
Yeah.
need any extra money. I don't need nothing. The basic stuff for Rick is what I go with. Because I don't live in a dual space. I don't need the best hotel. I don't need first class. I don't need all that. What do I need? I need a bucket seat. I show up in my sandals. Right on. What's happening?
Yeah, let's
Right
smoke
up.
up and have a
That's
good
how I
time.
roll. I
Yeah,
don't
beautiful.
abuse. I don't abuse
Keep it
anything.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the only way to be, man. Everyone else is just fucking, it's all egos and bullshit after that, isn't it? It's fucking, yeah, not for us.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nah.
Mila's not that way either. She's really humble and just like, oh my gosh.
Mina comes along to the puff of paint a few times by herself, cycles up, sits there, paints for a few hours.
Beautiful, beautiful. When you see
Yeah.
her say Rick Naya, Rick Naya, she knows me. She knows
Yeah.
me through Bobby. She knows me as a celebrity, and
Yeah.
I hope she recognizes my name. But
She's
yeah,
good.
I'd like to come there, and we'll talk to Bobby about that and see if we can't come up with some type of squash off event
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
invites. Now, here's what's happening, and I wasn't going to tell you, but I'm going to drop this here now. Sorry, it's going to happen
Okay.
anyway, and I don't want to step on your toes in Amsterdam. But we're going to be doing a squash off world championships in Spain,
Okay.
and we're bringing all of the world champions or any of the champions that have ever won an opportunity to re-enter at this event, and then bring any of the other people from around the world that want to enter for their chance at the very first ever world championship squash offs.
No way. That's amazing.
Beautiful. Well done.
Yeah.
That's major. We're doing that. That's happening. So stay tuned, and that's probably where you guys are going to want to go. Fuck, let's save our nickels. Hey, who wants a sponsor? We want to go to Spain and interview all these people and put them on a video. Ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
Because that's
If
what's
it's
happening.
in Spain, all you people are in Spain, we'll get to Spain. Man, I'll fucking sit on the bus for the next 10 hours and get to Spain if I have to.
Oh, dude, that event there is going to be good because we're not just going to throw down. We'll probably do a festival, bring in some musicians. I'll bring Denam, and he'll sing there live in Spanish, like in front of all these people. It'll get crazy. It'll get out of bounds. Oh yeah, it'll get out of bounds. Trust me. Any event that I do, like if I'm going to do an event, I usually go to people that are like these little things. Oh yeah, okay. But whenever you come around me and we do an event, it's like, oh fuck, show. Ricky's he's not joking. What do you mean? That's my stage. You're standing on our wood, on our platforms. You see all that rigging and all the lights, and that's mine. And you see all the digital guys up there in the fucking front of the house going, and making all that shit. Those are my buddies. Come on, let's go down here. Let's go here. I take you backstage. You see the bands. Hey, Ricky. Hey, what up? They all give me a hug. Oh, I love you, mate. All these people know who I am. I'm like, yeah, music and weed, and it's over.
It goes hand in hand.
But here's what's interesting. All these years I've done this behind the door. Like no one really knew. Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
He just show up? Oh no. I've been in the back corner very quietly, humbly watching this all go down.
Like Gatsby style.
My seeds were taken from me as a little boy. My mom was the director general of the embassies. What are you gonna fucking do? Jump up in front of everybody? Yeah, I'm a weak guy. That wasn't gonna happen. So I had to be very reserved, very, very reserved. And as my later years came by and the calling hit me, and I went to the State House and started fighting for cannabis, Then is when the globe came and said, "Are you ready for this? Give it all up, because this is what you're going to do now." What? No, not me. I was a playboy. You know, I have yachts, planes. I partied, and it was like I had to give all this up now. I got no money. I got to go. What? Whoa, no. Yep.
That's it.
It is, man.
We're
Remember,
on to
I'm going to leave it with
Mike.
this, bro. I'll leave it at this, man. Much love to you guys. I really appreciate you having me on the show. I got my son and my family calling, but just being on the show is really enlightening. And if you do want to put something together there in Amsterdam, or if you want to come down to Spain, just keep track of me and Bobby.
Anything you ever want to do, anything you ever want to promote, anything you ever want to collaborate with, we're up for everything. We want to do cool shit with cool people, so we'd be honored to do anything with you, if you know what I mean. So yeah,
right.
Yeah, you have something you want to announce in Europe, you want to use us, come back on anytime. If you're in Amsterdam, come back on the podcast.
Oh,
As I
beautiful,
said,
man. I'd like that, dude. Let's do that. Maybe next time we can get Bobby and we'll do a 4-way. It'll be cool.
Yeah, 100%. I said it to him, and I think he might have been watching us at one stage, but we got chatting too much. But
Well, I'm
next
glad.
time we'll get Bobby. Sometimes we do a lot of random lives. Sometimes Bobby just joins us. Last time he joined us, we was on for 2 hours, just randomly. So
yeah,
if you ever
I
see
was
us
going to
live,
do a show with him the other day, but I was just so physically exhausted that this is the first day in about 2 years that I've really taken 3 days off consecutively to rest.
nice.
And
That has to
if
be
you know
done.
what I do for a living, you know, oh my God, you work 7 days a week nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah.
16,
Right,
18-hour days. I don't stop. I work. Yep.
Yeah,
So
it has to be done. But it's your
plenty of
passion,
time
so
to
it's not work.
yeah, plenty of time to rest after I get consumed by the greater glory of it all, brother.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
I'm looking,
Sleep over
looking
there.
looking forward to meeting you guys personally and hanging out and calling each other our friends and
Be an honor to
smoking
smoke
up.
with you.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, dude. It'll be cool. We'll make this happen, okay? I trust me. We will.
I like that, man, for sure.
Right.
We'll get over to America at some stage too.
But you're gonna catch me in Spain or Amsterdam when I come over here this season. So just stay tuned. Yeah, we'll hook up.
100%. We'll stay in contact for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you
man.
both, man. Much love. Blessings to everybody. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Right on.
Yeah, he was a legend, man. That was so fucking